That's not gonna be a thing.
He's trying so hard.
It's gonna be my catchphrase.
The sound of a can over
Yeah.
here.
Is drinking beer.
Welcome everybody to episode 3 of Work in Progress. How are we doing? I'm sure we've all made such
Like
progress.
us or them? Like,
No, like us.
Oh, my number.
I can't fucking talk to them.
Hi, I'm Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
He literally just
What,
like snapped
Andrew?
at me.
Don't
like,
point at
You
me.
need
like,
to do the introductions every episode.
I agree.
You
I agree.
got-
Someone
Okay.
can just start listening on
Okay,
like
say
episode
your
3
name
or
again.
4 because you don't listen to podcasts like in order. You're like,
I
oh
do.
man, I want to listen to this podcast. I'm going to listen to all 160 back catalog. Like,
I know.
you just
Well,
Say your name
that's
again.
how I do
it
it.
takes like 5 seconds just do your name at the start
Yeah.
of every episode, just so people can follow.
Do it.
Andrew,
he already did it.
Ian.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Mitch.
I'm Jake.
I'm Jake.
see, you do that once, then it's out of the way,
It's not like it took long either.
and now everyone knows who we are.
Wait,
Now
who
this
are
is
you
the
again?
topic of this episode.
Andrew,
Andrew, Ian, Brandon, Mitchell. Or do
Hey
you-
Andrew,
Mitchell.
what's a plebe?
Shut up. All right. So
I go by Mitch.
No,
go
I
by
have
Mitch.
I have something real quick that I want to ask Brandon because I saw it and I think it's hilarious. So you have these note cards, right, that you brought, like
Yeah.
for talking points, in,
Yeah.
like in case whatever.
Sure,
There's a
why
lot,
not?
and not this one, but the other one. It's upstairs, so I
Oh,
think
is it?
on the
Okay,
ottoman.
Yeah.
And on the back of it, you had like you just like quick wrote down like some
I don't know what I
like
wrote.
some shit that like you enjoy doing in your free time, just
Oh,
like
yeah.
notable points.
Yeah.
One of them is melting lard. Is that? Please tell me.
let's talk about
Let's
that.
tell me about
Sure.
melting
Sure.
lard. Like, is it a joke or something? I don't.
It's a band name.
It's
Yeah.
kind of a hobby.
Fight
but
Squad.
I don't melt
Fight Squad.
lard. It's a name of like this group
What?
that I'm in. I
What
guess.
kind of group?
Brandon, are you a terrorist?
No.
It's the melting lard.
We come to you today at the scene of a horrific tragedy.
Hundreds of people.
We suspect an independent terrorist group who call themselves Melting Lard.
Millions of gallons of hot bubbling lard have been spilled. No.
No, it's too ridiculous. Can't do it.
You say that
So,
jokingly.
so
it
what
happens.
is,
Okay.
what is this group?
My friend Adam, his handle online is a lard lad. As in like the Simpsons
The
donuts.
lad of lards.
Is it
Yeah.
because he's fat?
It's because he likes the Simpsons.
Oh,
And that's
okay.
like the reference.
That's a better
Yeah,
reason.
that is.
And one of them is named Meltdown.
Okay.
So their powers combined.
Their powers combined.
They melt.
Their quote unquote company that they haven't made anything with is called Melting Lard.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm part of that. I joined them as a third member, but they didn't want to change the name because it fits much better with this.
So like, you can be in the group,
It
but we're
sounded
gonna
much-
pretend like you're not in the group.
Even though I'm probably the main programmer. So.
Yeah. So you
Even though
know.
I do like all the fucking work, and we should probably name it Brandon's fucking
Well, Zach,
awesome.
Zach
Brandon's
Meltdown.
melting.
Zach's pretty good, but I don't know. Well, Adam likes
This motherfucker like comes into work like once or twice a week when we work together, and every time he talks about coding, he's like, "Man, they never really want to do anything." I'm always the one who's like, "All right, I coded," and they're just like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, that's true.
But that's okay because
Zach's always asleep.
you
Adam's
can-
always
carry the company.
doing something. I don't know. I don't remember.
So I know that it's only been a day, technically.
No, it's been
It's
a
been
week.
a week, definitely.
Shut up.
You were the one who didn't want me to break it on the last episode, and I was like, it's been like 10 minutes. You were like, shut up.
Don't tell them that.
God.
Secret.
Don't need to
I
know.
don't care.
We just back
For you guys, it's probably been
Ruin the illusion.
no. For them, it's probably been at this point.
Well, they got up and went to the bathroom. They came back and clicked the next one.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So, or unless
Maybe.
they've been waiting, in which case it's been like.
In which case,
2
I hope
days.
everything came out all right.
But for us, it's only been a day, and so I imagine nobody's really. Andrew, have you really seen anything on your blog?
I didn't do anything on my blog. I wrote the script for that pizza delivery PSA.
Oh yeah, and you don't like it.
It's shitty.
Can you tell us about it?
But it'll do. I was telling you yesterday that my teacher doesn't really like just like blatantly funny stuff.
I don't really like.
He's trying to get us to stick to like at least serious stuff on these projects.
But it's a PSA.
Basically
Yeah.
stuff that because the thing with comedy when you're doing just like stuff that's basically going to go on your reel, the thing with comedy is it's only going to work on people who like are on the same comedic wavelength that you are.
Okay.
Right.
So it's like if I've got kind of like an absurd sense of humor and I make a video that reflects that, but then the guy who gets my reel at
What is
the
this
news
nonsense?
station or whatever, he fucking loves like 2.5 Men, and he's like, this is like the least amusing thing I've ever
This
seen.
is
in my life.
literally
Oh, man.
3 hours
This
of 2.5 men jokes.
This-
Stupid, absurd.
This jackass doesn't take his craft seriously, kind of thing. So, I can see why he does it, but it's kind of no fun for me because I like to think I'm sort of a naturally funny person, and that's just kind of how I get out there. Yeah. Well, if you're listening to this, feel free to tell me whether I'm funny or not.
Actually, no, that's a really good point. Feel
You can
free
crush my
to.
ego.
I'll post a fucking email in the
I'm gonna
description
make
for this
dozens of
episode.
new emails
No,
to
just-
go in to say, Andrew,
Andrew.
Andrew, you suck. Andrew, you're great.
Stop
Just
being
fucking
funny.
confuse the shit out of
Is
me.
Andrew available?
No, I'll post.
My brother is interested. I'm not gonna.
yeah?
No, exactly.
Yeah.
I'll post an email in the description for this episode that you can reach us at, but give us feedback because otherwise we're not going to know how to make this shit better.
Super awesome feedback.
Yeah, I don't give a
Super
shit
cool
if you
mega
hate
fan.
us, if you love us, just tell us whatever so we can fix it.
tell all my friends about
Do it.
I am, actually.
Do it. Okay, you continue.
But yeah, so anyway, my teacher doesn't really like funny stuff, at least not on stuff like this. So my first natural instinct, which is to just write something stupid and funny, is kind of out the window. So instead I wrote something stupid and boring. And
Yes.
Good compromise.
he really only cares about the craft
So I flipped a
because
coin.
it's not a writing course, it's a film course. So you can write the shittiest script in the world. He just wants it to be a half decent product off that script. So yeah, I don't really care for it at all. It's a pretty paint by the numbers PSA, which just happens to be about a subject that no one would ever make a PSA about, which I guess is the real highlight of the whole thing. Is like,
It's like dry pan.
why is this
Dry
even
pan.
a thing?
Wow. Wow.
It's like
Anyway,
what?
It's like dry humor. It's
Nailed
like
it.
deadpan humor.
No.
One could
It's
call
like
it dry
deadpan.
It's
humor.
like dry pan.
It's like dry pan.
Coming soon. Stores
No,
everywhere.
just stick
It's
with
very
it. We'll
dry
make it a
humor.
thing. We'll make it a thing.
Well,
It's very dry
we'll
pan.
beat the horse until it's well
Beat
dead.
the horse until everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
So regardless, I wrote the script for that, and I'm gonna need to start filming that in the next couple of days. I'll probably call on some of you assholes to be in it if you.
Well, if you're going to call us
Thursday,
assholes,
Friday.
I don't know about it.
What?
I have Thursday and Friday off.
Cool.
I'm not going to be here
He has
this
Thursday
weekend.
off. He's not going to be here this
What are
week.
you up to?
Well, that's not helpful at all.
I'm sorry.
I bet he's going to
Cocksucker.
Liberty.
Let's
Djibouti.
not start getting into
Good call.
stuff like that though, because that's boring to everyone listening. But basically, yeah, I'm gonna film that and probably work on the blog a little bit this weekend. We'll see
Good.
what happens. But yeah, nothing spectacular to report over the last 24 hours. I basically
You have way more than I expected.
Well,
So
I had to write a fucking script
we're
today,
already at
and
the
I
fucking-
watched the first 3 episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah!
Okay,
Oh,
can
yeah.
we?
Let's talk
can
about
we,
that.
Your
No,
move.
we don't
Yes.
need to talk about the show. We need to talk about.
It's time.
I walked into this house and I literally I peek around the corner of that fucking wall to the living room, and he's just sitting there, turned back around in his chair, like, hi. And on the screen, Frozen is fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm like, why are you watching Yu-Gi-Oh? And he's like, damn right I'm watching Yu-Gi-Oh! and then he got so excited. He's like, look what came in the mail today. And I was like, the fuck is this? He's like, it's the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I was like, that's dumb. This is dumb. I hate this. Every other person that walked in this house today has been like, holy shit, first season of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I don't understand it.
All I know is my favorite part about that conversation was, why are you watching Yu-Gi-Oh? Damn right I'm watching it!
Damn right.
That's the best response.
It's
I even had it paused because I had stopped it to listen to like a Tegan and Sarah song. So just that scene alone, I feel like
Yeah.
is kind of ripe with comedy.
Somehow.
It's like you're watching Yu-Gi-Oh! And listening to Tegan and Sarah, and it's
in
like,
fairness, though,
they're not the most stellar combination.
No.
I wouldn't think.
unless they're working with Morgan.
I mean, obviously, the only music
really
that
like
goes
that
with Yu-Gi-Oh! is like really shitty pop music by rock bands that
DDR.
never made it to anything.
Linkin Park and AMV.
Hey, man.
They go together.
Hey
A
man,
lot of bands and
Yeah, that's
AMVs.
let's not dredge the good name
Evanescence.
of Linkin Park through the mud here.
Evanescence, yeah.
Evanescence.
Naruto, Linkin Park, AMVs.
No, don't.
There's
Why?
at least-
Why are you trying to
There's
hurt
at
me?
least 6,000 of them.
At
least,
no, I agree.
Maybe 60.
To be fair,
Over.
To be fair, one of the hardest things you can do in
Dude,
life
that's really funny.
is
We should-
accept that something you love
Sorry.
has a terrible fan base.
No, how long ago did that with Invader Zim?
I'm aware
Yeah,
of
exactly.
Yeah,
I'm a big Invader Zim fan. Fan base is shitballs. Just the
just-
shitballiest shitballs of anything except for Sonic the Hedgehog.
No, and Chris had to come to terms with that.
Yeah. That poor
I was
bastard.
there when he came to terms
Yeah.
with it.
I also really like Kingdom Hearts. That was pretty hard too.
that. Oh, God.
I feel like a lot of these people cross over and are in fact the same exact people.
They're
They
weebies.
are the
They
same.
buy a lot of stuff at Hot Topic.
They are the same people.
You know, Hot Topic is
Oh,
wrestling
I
shirts
get
now.
Nice.
I thought
Because
they've
wrestling
been
is
I
good.
do now.
They
You
do
told,
get
you
cool.
told me, and now
It's
I know.
sort of a weird addition to their
It's because
niche.
it's cool to watch wrestling because it's not very good right now.
Excluding
Wait,
a few
what?
people.
I don't think you say it like
It's
that.
really cool to watch
It's
it.
cool
because,
CM
you know,
Punk is like the hot trendy shit on
Yeah.
all those scene kids. They're like, he's so angry
Do you
at
care
the
if I use
man, and I get
Okay.
that.
even
I
though,
understand that.
even though his words are written for.
Not all the time. Sometimes.
Yeah,
it's
he
still
actually,
on tangents.
without going too far down the pro wrestling
Does
path,
that
because
work?
no one cares, he's actually one of the few guys in the company that probably writes his own promos for the most part.
Mitch made a straw out of
Did
my
you just-
note card.
It's exactly what it
Did
looks
you
like.
just snort a line of coke with
I
this?
didn't snort. I made it
Why
a
is it
straw.
wet?
and
It's a straw.
I drank some of my beer out.
Mitch, that's gross.
It worked.
Did you absorb his ideas from the note card?
Well, now that I know everything about Visual Basic and C++,
All I
Exactly.
can think about is melting water.
Oh my god.
hold on.
I'm talking to you, and I'm
Now
just like,
it's
melting
made
blood.
the ink on the card blend into this new picture. Look at it.
And it's
No,
a
it's,
pity.
it's
now-
not.
No.
You can't,
It's a podcast.
God, they don't know that.
It's a podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Lie to them all the
So-
time.
Right, you can't see that.
I see magical dragons. You can't tell. You can only hear things.
Wait. I know. Okay,
And they're
so
quiet dragons.
a few weeks ago, maybe it was whenever we were living in Palm Village still. I promised Brandon that I would finally watch, like legit
this
watch.
Brandon
a
or,
whole-
like,
that
me,
Brandon,
Brandon?
the Brandon right there.
Got it.
And I say this because of his shirt. It reminded
Yeah.
me. I promised him that I would finally sit down and I would watch
I like
a
it.
decidedly larger amount of My Little Pony than I ever had before. Because I'd only ever caught like bits and pieces of
Like an
episodes on
episode.
TV, and I'm like, this is dumb.
I watched the pilot.
Yeah, the pilot isn't very good. The pilot
No, it's
is
not.
just
That was,
full
that
of
was sort of my takeaway.
It's-
I don't get it.
it's stupid like pony puns, and
the best.
it's so not even good.
The best.
I love puns.
But
Alliteration.
I like a good pun.
I do like
Yeah.
a good pun.
Yeah.
but
God.
Okay.
I bring it up because
Well, you say good.
a month or two ago I would have looked at his shirt and been like, Brandon, why do you have muffins, the word misunderstood, and Derpy the pony on your fucking shirt? And now I look at it and I'm like, oh, I understand that entirely. And I hate myself for it. Just a little bit.
Brandon's got a Adventure Time t-shirt.
But
Well,
see,
Adventure
somehow
Time's
to
like
me,
Mario.
Adventure Time.
Adventure Time is the bomb diggity. I'm
It
pretty
is,
sure
it's
is what I'm
good.
going to say.
Plus, it's blended with Donkey Kong,
I mean,
Which
come
is
on.
great.
which is a classic video
It's
game.
win-win
Yeah,
right
right.
there.
I think
Yeah.
I'm also the only person on this table that doesn't like Adventure Time.
Yeah, well, you should probably just
That's
leave.
okay.
You should probably just grab
It's
your
my
friends.
podcast.
Not anymore.
Get the fuck out. The sweet irony being is fucking Sonya has like a huge ass Adventure
Yeah,
Time
she sure
tattoo.
does.
It's
on
actually
her
really
arm.
cool, yeah.
It is. I like it.
Mega
But-
detailed.
Maybe I'm not nerdy enough for you people. I don't understand.
You just
That's
Let's
impossible.
go watch your wrestling.
Wrestling.
He watches
That's actually
wrestling.
my
Oh,
thing too.
okay.
I read comic books.
Careful
Comic
who
books
you're
are what I
insulting
read.
there, bro.
Go home and watch
I
it.
got caught in the
Come on,
crossfire of
we're on the
that
same side, man.
comment. Bro, man. Dude.
So I know last night after I promptly spent 25 fucking minutes boring the shit out of everybody, I promised Ian we would talk about today we would talk about video
Oh, we're
games,
gonna talk about video games.
writing methodologies, and what was the other one? Comic books.
Comic books.
Yeah, comic books. So
Okay.
because
Okay.
Ian, because I promised Ian we'll hit up video games first.
Video games.
Ian, tell me about video games.
Well, here, we should
Start
do like,
from
we
the
should,
beginning.
We should let them know what we think about video games. We should do like a little thing where we say like,
Like, what do you mean?
let's do favorite game. I
Okay.
mean, it's a stupid like.
That's a great
elementary
starter,
school
though, yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
Let's send it around.
Can
the
we
table.
do like a two truths and a lie version of it,
I don't.
Oh, dude, I love that
where you
idea.
have to guess which game they're
Oh.
lying about?
Well, no, but
Because
the
I don't
problem
have
is,
a favorite game.
Well,
it's gonna take forever to think about.
Ian
that.
will be able to pick mine out in a heartbeat though, because that dude probably knows what my favorite.
Well,
is.
and we all know his though.
Well, yeah, but then.
Well, maybe Brandon
so
does.
see, then it's only fun for like half the table because you're like, oh man, maybe you can get away with it. My fucking.
Yeah, but fuck you guys. You know what I mean?
Let's do the one and go around. We'll
Okay,
go.
okay. So Ian, we'll start with you. We'll go this way. We'll go go clockwise.
My favorite game.
You don't have to.
Get away from
You
the
don't have
mic.
to
Get away
fix
from
the
that
mic.
Not, this isn't NPR. You don't
Nice
have to
to the
fucking mouth the fucking microphone.
No, Super Metroid. To
Dude,
the,
yeah, it's
to
a
the
great
bitter
one.
end.
It's a great
Even
one.
with that
The
weird
bitter-
password save
And,
system.
Bitter
and
and-
what's
Huh?
Did Super Metroid have the save
No.
files, or did it have the password?
Super Metroid had a save system.
Okay, never mind.
And number 2 is of course.
Oh, my number
Fusion?
2. I thought you were like.
Well, because I know
Metroid 2,
they're,
that's
I know they're
Return
usually
of
hand in
Samus.
hand with you, so it would almost feel wrong to not let you
It's
mention the other
true.
one.
It's usually tied with Chrono Trigger. I
Yeah,
should know
okay.
both of them. Super Nintendo. Oh,
I like to call that
best-
game Time
best
Gun
console.
to confuse people.
Time what?
I like to refer to Chrono Trigger as Time Gun to confuse people because I'm an idiot and I like confusing people.
Do you ever play
Time
Time
Gun?
Gun?
Man, I love Time
Dude,
Gun.
I
It's
love
so-
Time
Dude,
Gun.
that game doesn't exist. Yes, it does. It's
There's
Time
like-
Gun.
There's like robots and
You're
sword
thinking of
fighting
Time
frogs.
Crisis.
If
you
you
can't
said Time
find it
Gun,
in-
yeah, everybody would think of Time Crisis.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, I thought I was thinking.
I wouldn't.
Crisis.
I would think Chrono
I
Trigger.
would.
Yeah, you would, the creator of this reference.
You made the.
Okay.
Ian, how do you feel about Chrono Cross?
I mean, okay,
Okay,
my
pause
experience
there.
with it was destroyed
Yeah.
because of this weird thing. I remember when I first played it, there was some sort of I had like an old fucking TV because of course
Yeah.
I'm a kid and I take the TV that my parents gift to me,
Of course you do.
You know.
just like food and running water, etc.
Yeah. Well, at least that's the way you view it when
That's
you're a
right.
kid.
Yeah.
And as I played it, any PS1 games I played on my PS2 would bounce. Constantly.
Wait, like
the
the
screen would be
Oh,
like,
the screen. Okay, I thought you meant like the cart, like the
like
disc.
what? No, not like the
The PlayStation would literally just start hopping.
console.
Yeah, I was like,
was stationary.
Are you sure there wasn't like a squirrel in the
the
place?
screens would bounce up and down, and it was it basically made it like
Yeah, you
unplayable.
couldn't fucking play it.
But I could actually play for a while through Chrono Cross, but I might have enjoyed it. It's hard to say. This sheer bouncing caused the whole experience to be kind
You
of
went
second
mad
rate.
that day.
You know I own that game.
I know you own that game now.
Now that you
How
told
is it?
him,
Did you realize that Jessica still has my PlayStation 1?
you need me to go get that for you.
Maybe at some point.
Okay.
That's another story for another. But no, I actually own Chrono Cross. If you'd ever like to
Nice.
give that another go.
I
at
own
some
that
point.
too.
Okay.
I know I've talked to you about this before. What are your opinions of Metroid Fusion?
Oh, I love Metroid.
I do too, yeah.
Oh,
Well, it was like a
it's so
return.
good.
It was like a return to form.
Absolutely.
Pretty much,
it was.
yeah.
They moved
And you
away
had like those little, you go in the elevator and it's like, and then as I went up in the elevator,
Alright,
my
those
thoughts turned
bits
to
kind
Adam.
of suck. My thoughts turned to Mark, an old fling
We've
I
only
had.
got 30 seconds to live, and as I went up the elevator, my thoughts turned to Adam.
Isn't it like the same thing that happened with the Other M though?
It's the massive.
Other M was about
Elevator.
the fucking Adam dude, but it was
Okay.
done by the Ninja Gaiden people, so
Yeah.
the whole thing's really lame. Like it's really
Wait, is that the
bad.
one where they actually gave Samus like a voice?
Yeah.
yes.
Wasn't it like a baby?
I mean,
or
the
something?
game
They
itself
finally
game
gave women a
itself-
voice.
was
Was
okay.
1920? What the fuck?
You know, I did enjoy the game itself, but the story, cutscene, it was all
Heard it was kinda
like,
mess.
It was very
it
pretty.
was all bad. It was all nonsense, and they,
I like the commercials because it was an actual, live action.
in an effort to better define
Thank you.
the character, they made her less interesting, which
Didn't
is a
they-
crime
And
because it's one
sexier.
of the.
I agree.
Yeah. they had Zero Suit Samus, who was sexy and still liberated, as
Didn't she have stilettos or something on?
Yeah, but we don't.
I don't remember.
Oh.
I mean, I doubt they were flats.
Yeah,
Probably had some heel in there.
I'm misremembering.
I don't know if I came prepared to discuss shoes. I don't know if
Don't
I.
worry, the
episode.
topic is not going
They were high
far.
heels.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they were fighting high heels. That's
So
what I
I'm
was
curious though. So that was your first two. Now, Brandon, you make video games. So I'm curious.
Yeah.
Then what are your gonna?
Literally one day for a living, ideally.
So like, what's your top then?
I haven't played video games myself in so long. Usually I play with my friends.
He's
Like Payday 2 or like Left 4 Dead.
Those are great. Yeah.
Left 4 Dead 1 or Left
I
4
play a lot
Dead
of group games. I'm more of a social gamer, not like Farmville, but just like Adam's like,
You-
hey,
not
play.
casual
Yeah.
games, but
Just
social
social
games.
Yeah.
yeah,
Brandon,
you,
get
you don't
online and
like
play this,
you're
okay.
you're a multiplayer kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like a couch co-op.
by myself. Last game I bought and played was probably Shadow of Colossus. I loved that
Oh,
game.
classic. Yeah.
Oh
Played
yeah.
that to the end, like when I was like, I had to beat that game before I did anything else.
That's,
You know the
that's-
original
that's a
name?
classic.
The original name of that game was Wanda and the Colossus. No
Yeah.
joke. That was
Knew
the
that.
actual original name.
I didn't
I assume
know
that was the name of the woman, Wanda.
I think
Like
it was
Wanda.
actually.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's
The name they settled on was
much.
much better, more imposing.
I mean, Shadow of the
Amongst
Colossus,
the
not
gibberish,
Shadow
I
of the
think
Wanda. Their third choice, which they also.
I would have played that game. I love the shit out of that game. I don't like dark
Sounds
foreboding titles.
Yeah.
So if you had to pick favorite game, desert island scenario. With,
You're stuck on a desert island, but God's like nice enough to come down to you and be like, "Hey, dude, I know you're pretty bored.
I'll
I'm going to
give
give
you
you
live."
a video game.
But not food or water, just a video game.
You still got to work
That's
for
up
the
to
rest
you,
of that
man.
shit. But I'm going to give you a video game that inexplicably works on this island. What do you want, dude?
Shit.
Forever. It will never go bad.
I'm opening up the shop. Here you go.
Every video
to the
game
shop.
ever.
Opening up the God shop. Thank you.
It's like that scene in The Matrix with all the guns.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but they're all
But
cartridges.
they're all video games.
Oh, dude.
Oh man.
We'd all start just.
We could come back to you.
You'll have to come back.
All right, Mitch, carry us forward. Favorite
Might
game?
need to be a
Star
platform.
Fox 64 all the way.
Star Fox 64.
Star Fox 64. Well, like, I got a story with this. So, I got it when I was in elementary school because a cousin of mine had it and said, "Oh, you're liking video games, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Here, have this." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't have time to play it, so you try it. It's really fun." Okay. And I loved it, but I could only beat, like, the easy path. So I'd have some friends, like, who'd be like, "Yeah, man, I beat the real guy. It's awesome, man. All this happens."
I
I'm
beat
going-
the Andros brain, and you're like, I want to defeat the
And I'm like,
Andros brain.
Well, they kept saying that, and I was like, "What?
What are you talking
That sounds
about?"
awesome."
Oh, and he
so,
sees his dad. What?
Shut up! Shut up! So I'm like, "How do you do that?" And they're like, "You have to do the train level and hit all the switches." So I couldn't do it for the life of me. So
on the gas.
I ended up
Dude, it's hard, man.
hit the brakes.
Voice acting.
Oh, superb! I love people give
And they're flapping mouths.
people give it crap. I think it's one of the most. Every line is so memorable.
It
That
is,
has to mean
somehow.
it's good voice acting, doesn't it?
Can I do a little gaming confession here?
In 1 second, I gotta end my story.
Only if I can't guess it.
Okay, so real quick. So I ended up like leaving the game alone because by this point, like, we were starting to get the GameCube and other
Right.
things, and I was having less time at home for video games. And so it's me finally in high school, and I broke back out my N64 and was like, "Oh, Star Fox 64! I remember loving this." Minute the game's in the cartridge, I'm like, "This game's how could I leave this game?" So finally, I end up hitting all the switches, and I finally get to like the planet right before you fight the brain. So it's like Star Wolf, but a lot harder. And I can't beat them, and I'm screaming at my television, "Why?" So I end up leaving it alone for like another 2 years. It's my senior year of high school. I'm like, you know what? I still love this game. So I'm playing it, and kind of by accident, I was playing the train level, and I just mindlessly got all the switches and went, "Oh, dude, I did it." And so I fight Star Wolf, and I actually beat them, and then I'm flying in. I'm like, "Oh, dude, this is awesome." So I fly down, I fight Andros, I'm like, no big thing, and it's the brain. I'm like, okay, Pinky and the brain. So I see it, and I'm having a tough time. Like, I keep dying, and I finally, it's like my last life, my ship has no wings, and I beat him, and the screen, screen goes white, and by this point, I've kind of forgotten all the spoilers that my friends in elementary school told me, so the screen's white for a long time, and I'm going, "Oh no, I broke the game." And then the whole, "Don't ever give up, my son," and my jaw just dropped. And then it's like, "Follow me," and the whole place is collapsing.
And you know it's
This
his
is-
dad because he's wearing
He's
sunglasses.
wearing sunglasses. And I'm flying through, and he's like, "You are the coolest guy ever, Fox." And I'm like,
Dad.
"Yeah," I'm like, "This is so fucking cool." And then,
Isn't it great that like an old ass video game can still elicit like that
Oh,
kind of emotional
man.
response? Like it's so great how many of those old titles can still like resonate with
Exactly.
you.
Well, I
in
finally-
like their most kick ass moments, you're like, "Oh shit!"
you finally fly out, and he's all, and you see Fox like actually looking, and they're like, "What is it, Fox?" And he goes, "Nothing." And I was like,
It's like crying.
I can never tell them how my dad told me that I am awesome.
and then my actual dad came in the room. He's like, "You okay?" So I'm like, "I beat Star Fox 64."
He gets up and just hugs him. I love you, Daddy.
I did. I actually give him a big hug. I give him a big hug. And in a perfect world, he would have gone, "You've grown so strong." And I'd be like, "Ah!" That's in a perfect
Your
world.
mother would be so proud.
My mom's not dead, but she would be.
She would be.
If she knew.
I'll call her right now and we'll find out.
And she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm proud. See, there
Told you.
I told you."
So, it's because of those reasons that Star Fox 64 always.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah,
it's,
that's good.
It's always there.
That's legit. All right, Sparky, take a crack at my gaming confession. What do you think it is?
Since it came up literally right after he said he never beat the Andros brain, I'm gonna give myself one try. And I know it's probably going to be one of two things. I'm going to go with you just straight up never beat any version of Star Fox 64.
Well, that's completely true, but that's not the
Okay.
heartbreaking part of the confession.
Okay, well you can do that.
I've never played further than the first 2 levels of Star Fox 64.
Oh no! At least you met cocky little freaks.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's literally sitting upstairs. Like I can play it.
Play it right
I've
now,
just
yeah.
never done it.
Well, we know what we have to do then.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. Now we have to spend a night all cheering you on and being like,
You
ah.
can do it. Your dad believes in you.
Or at least you will if you destroy the
Dude.
giant brain with eyeballs.
The final battle he's playing, like he's super focused, he's just crying. Just tears streaming like, Andrew, why are you crying? I don't know!
I'm doing this for you, Dad.
Why are you crying?
Hold on,
Because
hold
I
on.
believe in myself.
In the middle of like, I'm doing this for you. Hold on, Andrew, your phone's going up. Who is it? It's your actual father. Hang up!
I don't care, Dad. Don't care. Fox Dad needs me.
Oh.
Well, we got Ian second. Do you have a second you just want to throw out there? Or is
Oh,
it pretty much
Paper
top-
Mario.
Top of the map. Paper
Which
Mario.
one?
I'm playing through that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the first one because I played it more. I have tried, what is it called? Thousand Year Door? I tried Thousand Year
Thousand
Door.
Year
I
Door is
really
so
liked
great.
it.
And there's 1,000-Year Door, there's
Those are really
Super
the
Paper Mario.
those are really the
Four or
only
five,
two that
aren't they?
count though.
And then there was, of course, the original, which kind of, well,
Mario RPG, which is
Mario
kind of
RPG
the spiritual
was kind of
successor.
spiritual
Yeah.
successor was Paper Mario.
And then on the handhelds, there's the Mario and Luigi games.
Those
which
are a blast.
Which are in the same thing.
Yeah.
And those are fantastic.
It's a really
like,
cool
what, 4 of
RPG
those
system.
now?
4 or 5.
Yeah.
They're pretty deep in.
It's because they're pretty
And
popular
they're-
for
There's
good
one
reason.
where
They're
they're
fun
the
as hell.
babies. There's one they go inside Bowser's.
Well, there's like the first one that's like Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
Yeah.
Right.
There's Partners in Time, which is where the babies. There's Bowser's Inside.
Where you're inside
Inside
Bowser.
Story.
Inside Story.
Which is a
There's
stunner.
the newest one that just came out on 3DS, and there might be another one, but I couldn't tell you. for sure.
Dude, awesome.
I guess I could look it up, but I don't really care that much.
Yeah, those are fun.
No, those are great.
I'm playing.
And like your thing with the Super Nintendo, all of mine are on the Nintendo 64.
Yeah, on the same console. That's adorable.
It's adorable.
Well, Jake, what's
Lay it down.
top of the pile?
Off the top of your head.
God's like, here's a video game.
But see, the ones that come to my mind, I know they're not my favorites. Like, I'm thinking of them because I'm like, that's not my favorite, that's not my favorite. That's
Oh
not my
god,
favorite.
okay.
Because I don't... Like, you guys, your lives have just been video games.
Yeah,
Which is- and that's not-
I grew up with them.
Yeah, I grew up with them
yeah.
too, but I didn't do it as much, I feel like.
Yeah.
So it's like embedded in your guys' entire histories. And for me, it's kind of, it's always been there, but
Yeah.
for me, it's always been more like comic books and shit.
My parents didn't love me, so video games had to raise me.
That's fair.
I'm just kidding, Mom and Dad, if you're listening.
You love your
They actually basically bought me all the video games, so
How would I
I
survive?
owe it all to my parents. Otherwise,
would-
I'd be some boring sports playing fuck right now.
Oh man.
They
I
probably
would
wish I
say
was.
the game I've played the most is probably a tie between the original StarCraft.
Oh nice.
Although admittedly that was mostly like online user created shit that
Well,
I
that's
played
cool though. You can
because
do
I'm
that.
not good at StarCraft.
Who is in this country?
Oh.
Some people,
Koreans?
Mark's pretty good.
Some live
Can,
here.
Sure there are
can
people.
Mark beat Koreans?
Maybe.
He's getting there.
He could probably beat like a Korean somewhere.
If we find like
Yeah.
the worst Korean,
Yeah.
he could probably beat him.
So it'd probably
that sounds
be
like a good children's book.
The worst Korean.
it'd probably be like a tie between StarCraft and like maybe fucking Halo. I don't know.
Okay.
Like, because I played the fucking shit out of the first Halo.
Oh man,
Even I did. I
We-
didn't own the game.
Ian and I
Yeah.
both did. We played a lot of Halo when it was
Damn,
out.
Yeah, and it was the first, like, I'd never played an FPS before that.
Me
Like,
neither.
that was my
I played
first
GoldenEye, but that was.
Oh, no, shit, I'm sorry. I had played GoldenEye. But I don't
I
know.
also played. Yeah, I played GoldenEye. I played Perfect Dark. You guys
But
remember
That
that?
was.
I never played.
I never got to play.
But Halo was so many steps above GoldenEye.
Well,
man,
yeah.
because it was.
Well, it's-
it
Sadly,
controlled
GoldenEye I feel like
it's
didn't
reasonably.
Yeah,
you know?
and it's like comparing apples to oranges at that point.
Yeah.
Like, it's entirely different eras.
It was a totally different experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
What was the name of that level? It was like the biggest level in the game.
the one with like the cliffs on the side, and it was kind of like L-shaped,
I
and
think
then
it's called
ghosts and shit.
Sidewinder. Maybe?
Sidewinder, yeah,
Yeah,
that might have been it.
that was awesome. I miss like some of the large maps. I remember on
Dude,
the
it would
computer
actually be pretty kick-ass to whip out some copies of Halo and play some split screen on that.
We should
sometime.
we should and the HD version.
I'm pretty sure I've got a copy somewhere, actually.
I haven't touched the HD
Anniversary
version.
edition.
Well, yeah, there's the
Yeah,
anniversary
that's
edition. That'd be really cool. I'd like to do that.
Heard
Yeah.
good things.
Yeah.
They
But
do
I
that,
also
like,
remember on the
added
computer
boots.
version they had this giant island map. You guys?
Yeah. I didn't play the PC version a lot, but I heard about that, and that was. You
Well, 'cause
you
PC
you
had-
played the PC version,
Yeah,
didn't you?
I
Because I played it on your
played
computer a couple
Yeah,
times. I think I remember.
That's right.
And they had like online matchmaking with that shit, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Just on the PC one, yeah. Which
No,
is
that was the coolest shit ever because you could actually ride around in fucking
Warthogs.
Banshees.
Yeah,
you can ride around.
Yeah, the first game you could ride Banshees in was actually Halo for PC,
For
not
PC,
Halo 2.
because on that
Really?
giant
Yeah.
island map you could ride Banshees, and for that alone, I'm like, oh, this is level. Look, I can see in a flying machine.
Which, we take for granted now, I guess, because we've
Like,
been
I
able to
guess
fly.
we fucking do.
We've been able to fly in Banshees for like 10 years now.
Got
But,
helicopters, motherfucker.
bring
yeah,
in the
we've
fucking
got
patches.
Falcons, and in 4 there's the fucking mech, the
Yeah.
mechs, the mantises. That's what they're called, and it's like,
freaking
Wait.
mech assault.
That's a thing?
yeah, there's like
I haven't
mechs
gotten to play
in
4 at all.
Oh,
Oh
it's
yeah,
yeah.
there's these crazy funky robots. You
Nice.
Right in.
well, then there's those planes you had to
They're
fly
literally-
in the campaign. You had to do the kind of
I should
tunnel
play it 'cause
run
my
through.
roommate has it.
Remember when all 4 of us played it? You had to kind of fly through the tunnel. Of
Yeah,
the
I do
planes.
remember
And that was
that.
crazy
It's like some
shit.
fly to the center of the Death Star and
Yeah,
return of the
and we were all just
Jedi.
dying left
Are
and
you talking about
right.
Halo? Are you talking about Halo 4?
Halo 4, yeah.
Oh yeah, we would die and it'd be literally like, someone stay alive to the next checkpoint.
Just get to the
That's all we
checkpoint,
need.
guys.
And it was always Mark that would make
Of
it
course.
every fucking time.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, we're going to play more Trials again.
A game that's far more fun than it needs to be.
Yeah.
All right, well then I guess I'm up. My favorite video game is Spyro 2: Ripto's Rage on
Yeah.
the PlayStation.
Nice.
Very
And
specific.
in Europe,
Really.
it's called Spyro Gateway to Glimmer.
Ew.
Which title do you like?
The first world in the game, well, no, not the first world in the game. The entire world that the game takes place in is
Overworld?
an area called Glimmer. And the premise is that after Spyro saved all the dragons in the first game, he's about to go on vacation, and the natives of Glimmer need a dragon to save them from this horrible tyrant named Ripto. And so they grab Spyro out of the portal he was going into and redirect him to Glimmer to save their asses. They were trying to get a bigger, more impressive dragon, and they got this tiny little purple fuck. But they're like, well, it's okay. I guess he already saved the world once.
What else have we got anyway?
And but no,
A one-shot deal.
Spyro 2 is
Shit, man.
absolutely my baby. I love 1 and 3 as well, the original Insomniac trilogy of them. Everything else after that is poopy garbage.
Poopy garbage.
But 2 for me,
Garbage with
it's just the sweet spot of just everything being perfectly right. That's. I mean, I can play that game all day. I'll boot it up if I'm just bored and I'm just like, let's play a game. I can 100% the thing
Nice.
in a couple hours. It's
Drop a hundo.
drop a hundo on it.
It's like part of me wants that to catch on, but it's only a part of me. It's only one part.
And,
Actually, can I go back and change my answer? Not StarCraft. It would be Left 4 Dead. I've spent more time playing Left 4 Dead 2 than
Dude,
I
we
have.
all played that so much.
There was
It
a
such
time
fun
period
game.
even where I did online single player
Yeah.
where I was multiplayer with people who weren't in the room with me,
Yeah.
which is fucking obnoxious.
It is.
on
Yes.
Left 4 Dead because
Worst
everyone's
thing in
always
the world.
the instant you fuck up, everyone's like kick him.
Yeah,
he fucking sucks.
I don't like playing cooperative games online because everyone expects more of me than I'm capable
Right,
of.
yeah.
And if you don't follow, it's like they think you're messing around if you
Yeah.
don't know what to do. It's like, no, guys, I really just have no idea what I'm doing.
This
It's
is my
like,
first
oh, he's
time.
fucking around. Get him out of here.
You know,
Kick
I've
him
been playing
dead.
Smite recently, and that's really big on there.
Well, we had that happen.
The game we were playing, that guy was riding you all over the place. 'Cause it was like your first fucking game, and this guy's all like, "This dude fucking sucks. Just leave, man." I was like, "Dude, lay the fuck off."
on,
Like,
Jeez.
hey, we're winning pretty handily.
We
Like,
were winning like left and right.
We rolled tide. I mean, and just like
Was I Poseidon or something stupid like that?
I think you were Poseidon.
He's like, Poseidon left. And I'm like, what? What?
eventually,
Is-
like, just
I-
dude, shut
what?
up. Like we all were new to this game at one point.
Yeah,
Like you weren't the
everybody
fucking
banned
king of the
Poseidon.
world when you
Oh.
started up.
It kind of cracked me up because I imagine this guy. He's so frustrated. It's like, God, people would just do what I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This game would be so much easier. But at
If
that
I could just
point,
have 5 fucking mice,
I mean,
and I could just do it myself.
roll the shit myself, man. Got to deal with people.
But
This
that's
game is ridiculous.
That's always the worst part about playing cooperatively, and online with people you don't know, because a lot of them won't cut you that slack that your friends will. It's
Well, and
like,
especially in ones that have like quite the community behind them, because usually that means that they are hardened veterans,
Yeah.
which means that they're also douchebags.
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
they get
All
online.
they do is play that.
Yeah,
They get
yeah.
super competitive.
Exactly. It's like they take it to the next level because the basic idea of just playing and winning or maybe losing isn't enough to satisfy them
Yeah,
anymore.
they
It
have
has
to be
a
ranked
blood
number
sport.
1 and shit.
Yeah. They have to fight for survival
It's very important.
in the harsh wasteland of,
That.
LOL.
so yeah, that
much.
can be pretty irritating. But I mean, I guess that speaks to how much you liked it if you were even willing to.
Well, and
Go
I
that
got
far.
I got
Yeah.
decent at it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't turn into one ass. Was like, this guy fucking sucks. Boot him. But I got to the point where people would stop trying to boot me because I pretty
good
much
then.
it helps a lot once you get a headset. Once you can talk to them and be like, guys, just hold the fuck on.
But then you have to
That's
talk
really
to
important.
internet people, and that's
I know.
always a crap
There's,
shit.
there's maybe been one game ever where I've kind of reached a point in the online version of the game where I'm like, not only do people not hate me, but people start to fear me.
Yeah.
That was
Nice.
Monday Night Combat.
Oh, yes.
One of the only games I ever truly loved, I think, back in its heyday as an Xbox Live. But I really, really got into that, and by the time I stopped playing, I was pretty damn good. Like, not to toot my own horn, but I was playing an online game and like topping leaderboards, and it felt real fucking nice. But yeah, but there's a learning curve to that too. I mean, when I was learning that game, there were people just dicks.
Did
all
you ever
over the
try
place.
Gotham City Imposters?
I played a little bit of that,
It was fun.
It's fun.
It is fun.
There were.
and free to play.
Yeah.
That's the upset about it.
That's the key.
I had a couple rounds where just again learning curve. I was like, all right, I think I'm still learning, but no one really cared. And then there was just one game out of nowhere that I just could not fail.
Yeah.
Everything I did would just succeed, and we were doing capture the flag. So literally, I fly up there and I'm hanging out and I'm hiding. People keep storming this and like in groups, and I'm somehow like,
Everybody's dead.
I'm still alive. And so soon, like I didn't see anyone for like a long time, which is I guess in a first-person shooter like a minute and 30, which is forever.
That actually does sound.
And so I'm just like,
Forever.
okay. And then suddenly there's everyone.
Everyone.
like they bring the whole team.
Like, if not everyone, at least like 2/3 of their team.
Get that Mitch guy.
He's right there.
And again, like they're all like, "Get that guy! Get the guy with the roller skates!" Because my character had roller skates. Because the whole time I'm just, around them shooting.
Yeah.
And so I take out about 6 of them. Finally, like 3 of them finally get me. They kill me, and I think I didn't mute them, or somehow I could hear them, and they all went, "We got him!" Oh man!
That's how you know you made it, man. That's how you know.
And then, like, I waited and I kept their mics on for a sec. I literally I respawn. I hit a ramp. I go flying. Suddenly I land, take out them all, and they're like, "Damn it!"
No, man, that's
And it's
feels
the best
so fucking good.
movement in the world.
I would get to points in Monday Night Combat where I played Assassin, which was basically the ultimate fuck you class.
Yeah.
You ran around invisible and then just stab someone in the back and their fucking run is over. And so there would be runs where I just end up torturing one guy because maybe he wasn't very good, maybe he was slow, maybe he was just always on my side of the
Maybe
map.
he was just
Like
like
the look
lucky.
of his
He
face.
just happened to be there.
There would be a game or two where there's just always one guy that I just inadvertently just could not stop killing. I can recall at least a couple instances where he'd be on the mic and be like, "This fucking assassin won't leave me alone." And I was like, yes, your tears, they're so delicious.
Put them in my coffee cup.
No, that's great, and I don't get to experience it enough because I'm shitty at a lot of multiplayer
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's a great feeling when you finally get to experience that just a little bit. It's nice.
It's nice.
You guys
I don't
mentioned.
think I ever reached that point with any online.
Oh, yeah. You guys mentioned Yu-Gi-Oh earlier. I play Yu-Gi-Oh Pro, which
Uh-huh.
is
Oh, do you switch over to that?
Why wouldn't they just call it Yugi Pro?
a lot of people do. It's either that or Dev Pro. You pick.
So much better.
The cool part is, one, everything is automated, so there's no more you need to argue forever about a ruling because it takes care of it for you. And 2, you can customize it. So like every game that I start up, I programmed it to start off with like the Pokemon battle theme. So as soon as a game starts, you hear wow, and then I'm fighting, and it's cool. But I played this one guy online, game starting off, and I've shown a buddy of mine who I used to play with all the time in high school, he's seen my deck, and after me playing like 2 rounds, he just goes, "Dude, you're just an asshole." And I'm like, "I know." And he just goes, and it's not just because, you're good, but like your deck is based around you just being an asshole. And that's true. So I was playing this one guy, and like, I think the game lasted maybe 6 turns. Because every single play he made, I had the perfect counter for. And again, it's just
you're just abusing this.
because
player.
I got a really good opening hand, and he had a good deck. But every play he made, I had the exact perfect thing to screw him up. Literally within like the 6th turn, he had no cards left. He drew one. He went all these big moves, and he goes, "Do I got him?" 1 card. It disappeared. I heard a click, and it said, "He has now lost connection. You win." And I went, "Yep."
Fucking gave up. It was like, I can't beat this guy.
It wasn't that. I like literally the game somehow has a weird algorithm to figure out if it qualifies as a rage quit.
Right?
And so it says like on my profile, all my victories and all my losses, it says you have won this many times, this many from actually winning, this many from the guy surrendering, this many from rage quit.
This many for making them cry for their mommies.
That's fantastic.
I think I was playing a game just quick today, and I again just was just countering everything. It says surrender, and it said like meine Futter Mutter, and I went, okay, that has to be some kind of swear.
You motherfucker.
Type it into Google.
And so I told my roommate to do that, and he just goes, well, the only thing I'd find is Mutter is mother, so it was probably
We can
bad.
make a jump.
It was
from there,
probably
and,
bad.
You motherfucker.
I've got a couple ideas.
you got called a motherfucker in another language. So
I'm kind of
that's an
proud.
achievement,
Mark
right?
that off your fucking bucket
The
list.
bucket
My
list.
bucket
Have
list.
someone swear at me in a different language.
And have me go, I don't know what it is, but it's probably bad.
I can tell from the inflections that they don't like me.
That's a lot of exclamation points.
So
I don't think he's congratulating me.
You're so good at this game.
I choose to believe that's what he said.
You never get
Just like my mother.
You never get messages on Xbox Live from the people you just played with. They're like, "Oh man, you're really good at this. Could you teach me how to play?"
Yeah.
That's
You get a message and it's like, man, I wanted you to know you're a good player. Don't let anyone tell you.
And I
that
would
you're not a good
I would
player.
never think of fucking your mother.
Ever.
Never, man.
That's
Never.
certainly
Even
not
if-
right now.
Even if she wanted me to, I wouldn't because I respect who you are.
Yeah.
I just hope like that happens on Xbox Live. You send back a voice message and says, my friend.
So I interrupted you, Andrew, and we got on this fucking tangent. You were talking about, I think you're about to say your second favorite video game.
Was I?
Maybe. You're talking about...
I don't know if I was, but it would be Donkey Kong Country,
Yeah, classic.
which is hoss as shit. And
I remember
yeah.
coming
Yeah.
into like the apartment and hearing just, what is this playing? Oh, it's Donkey Kong Country music. Oh.
I mean, it's worth noting that the Spyro and Donkey Kong series are 2 of the only video game soundtracks I own. So
Those are good ones to
that's
have.
pretty indicative. I also have the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker soundtrack, which is another of my top favesies.
Get the music from Bastion. I've never gotten to play Bastion.
So-
but the
I
soundtrack
actually
is
own
awesome.
Bastion. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Soundtrack is amazing, yeah.
My computer doesn't like to run it, though.
Yeah.
What does
Well,
that like
that-
to do instead?
Be a dick.
Well, and what I've been looking out for is I would buy the Battle Block Theater soundtrack in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
If the
Still
Behemoth
need to
would make
get
that
that.
available because it's a fantastic soundtrack.
No, that was great. I love Battle Block Theater.
Yeah, that's a in
Hatterson.
a year that has seen the release of BioShock Infinite and The Last of Us. Battle Block Theater is like a heavy contender for my favorite game of the year, and Tomb Raider, which is another one I really loved.
Is this the new one?
Yeah.
How was it?
Oh, it was fantastic.
Nice.
dude.
He
Absolutely
actually looks like a
fantastic.
person in this one. That's
Yeah,
why I kind of like it.
I cannot recommend it enough. It was really, really good. But no, Battle Block Theater is right up there with those guys as far as I'm
Nice.
concerned. Totally different experience. I mean,
Yes.
Battle Block Theater next to The Last of Us, they could not be more different.
Well, yeah,
But
I would hope they were different.
well, and this time next week I'll probably be playing GTA 5 because I'm weak and I'm gonna blow $60 on that. But we'll see how that turns out.
You're
It's
gonna
funny
give in.
that
Yeah.
you cite specifically Bioshock Infinite and The Last of Us because I saw a GIF online like 4 days ago, and it's a picture entitled "The only reason to watch the video game awards this year" or something, and it's just a picture of someone who has like a fucking like a narrow small table and it's against a wall, and propped up on this table is a copy of Bioshock Infinite and Last of Us, and it just holds that for about 5 seconds, and all of a sudden from like behind the camera is like this big ass collector's edition of Saints Row 4, and someone just chucked it at the wall and knocks them off their shit.
That's fabulous.
I think when all is said and done, this is going to be one of the most thrilling years to see where most publications are going to go on Game of the Year. Because I don't think I can recall a year in my memory where there's been like
So many
like
good ones.
3 titanic releases like this, like Infinite, Last of Us, and probably GTA 5. I'm going out on a limb.
I know we're still getting
Predicting
Origins in
ahead of
October.
time.
I'm stoked for that.
Those 3 games alone would probably win Game of the Year in almost any year they come out.
Yeah.
So all 3 of them going up against each other, it's going to be really interesting to see which one kind of gets just a little bit more critical acclaim than the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a hella good year to play video games, though.
I
Like-
bet
I agree. Well, we still got some good ones coming out upcoming too. Like I'm really stoked for Arkham Origins.
well, we've got all of the launch
and
lines
we're
for the new
finally
consoles.
gonna get the South Park game.
Yeah, Stick of Truth.
Oh, thank
Also,
God.
Pokemon X and Y.
Pokemon X and Y,
This is true.
So
which is going to be
excited.
rad.
It's gonna be the best.
Like I said, there's all
It's
the
gonna
launch
be
titles for the new
Pokemon.
consoles. There's going to be Assassin's Creed 4 by the end of
Oh,
the
yeah.
year. Watch Dogs. Is
No,
gonna be-
Watch Dogs
They're
looks
pushing
awesome.
Watch Dogs really hard. I'm
Yeah.
interested to see.
Well, no.
what
Did you hear that Ubisoft wants to make Watch Dogs like a 10-year franchise?
Nice.
Oh, wow.
It hasn't even come out yet, and they're already like planning to like basically build their empire around it in Assassin's Creed like here on out.
Yeah, those are good ones.
But I don't
to
care
base
about
off of.
Assassin's Creed anymore.
Well,
Like
hopefully
they-
you'll care about Watch Dogs. That's what they're going for. So,
That's right.
I mean, it does look really good. I'm not quite. Everyone's been super hyped about it since it debuted at E3 last year.
yeah, because it looks
And
fucking
I'm,
great.
cool.
yeah, I mean, it looks really good, but like a lot, like I'm not like totally on the hype train. Like I'm not like, oh yeah, Watch Dogs, let's fucking do it. Like I'm gonna
Hype
wait
train.
until it comes out, and if it gets really good reviews, then I'm like, all right,
Right.
I'm excited for it. But I always have to be kind of cautious with like original IPs, you
Thanks,
know.
Brandon.
When like a new game series starts, there's a couple ways it can go, and
Bringing it
you know
back.
they're not always like. Killzone is a great example. Killzone was supposed to be the hottest shit ever when it came out.
It was not.
And it was pretty mediocre. Now it's rebounded nicely because it's been pretty good on the PS3, but the original Killzone is
But
basically
it's never
your
achieved
average
anything
military
more
shooter.
than pretty good.
Yeah. It's basically just been. I mean, it's the premier shooter on its console, but the PlayStation library isn't known for big
FPSs.
shooters.
Well, that
It's
yeah.
like if it was on Xbox, it would
is.
easily be playing at least third fiddle to Halo and Gears of War, and
Well, that's what they wanted.
might
was
even be
something
lower
to
down to like
compete
and
with.
Call of Duty and shit too are definitely higher than it. So
Yeah, they wanted
Right.
something to compete with the Call of Duty. With,
Yeah.
with
it's great as a
I don't know
PlayStation
if when
exclusive.
Killzone started, there was if Call of Duty was this big of a thing.
It wasn't. I mean, Call of Duty has obviously been around for a long time, but
It was when Modern Warfare hit, and it was
Yeah.
like, whoa!
it was
Yeah.
reborn
Well, that's because
with Modern Warfare.
Like Modern Warfare was the first game I think since Halo that was the first-person shooter that really tried to tell a story, like
Well,
any
and-
type of coherent, relatively
I'd buy
good
that.
story.
Well, the story was one thing, but they also
I think it had to do
totally
with
changed
the-
multiplayer.
Yeah,
with that
wait,
game.
multiplayer
Like
function.
that was one of
That was the only reason why I
if
picked
not
it up.
the first, it was one of the first to make use of like the perk system and
Yeah.
Yeah.
the in-game drops when you were like kind of playing hot.
All that
Like, you get
ranking up
3 or 4
business.
kills, you know, you get a reward
Yeah.
and whatever, and it's stuff that Halo has adopted since then too. But
Yeah.
it's stuff that's now kind of ingrained in a lot of multiplayer types.
Yeah.
I know Uncharted ran stuff like that in its multiplayer, and The Last of Us probably did as well. So
Even Space Marines multiplayer did.
Space
yeah,
Marines.
Which was actually a lot better. than
it kind of
multiplayer
changed
than
the
I
game
thought.
a lot like how Gears of War 2 when
Yeah.
it came out with Horde mode. Just fucking
everywhere.
changed the game. It was like, oh, now everyone's got a fucking Horde mode.
But I fucking
the new
yeah.
Bioshock game has a Horde mode
You
because of the new DLC. Yeah.
Wow.
fucking hate that. Like it's.
'Cause I love Firefight. I think
Yeah,
it's a great
like
idea.
the firefight horde modes are fun for a while, but they're fucking. For me, their novelty is so limited.
Right.
Like, cause I can't just sit there and fight wave after wave after wave of enemy.
Sure.
It's just repetitive. For
Well,
me.
I think the idea really peaked with it was ODST that introduced it,
Mass
wasn't
Effect 3?
it?
Yeah.
In
Firefight
in
and
ODST, I
yes.
think it really peaked in that particular
I agree.
generation of it because it escalated just right. Like every wave
did.
got a little bit harder and a little
Yeah.
bit harder and a little bit harder, and it got to the point where when you were playing with friends, you got really tactical about it. It got really intense because you knew what was coming in the next wave, and you were all planning like you be there, you be there,
Yeah.
you be there. If you go down, you know
We're all
you know,
screwed, yeah.
Yeah, so it got really intense. Whereas like
Every time, Bobby, you go down that fucking ramp and you fuck us. You fuck us in the butthole.
There's always that one guy where like everyone's going, all right, guys, stay together, and Billy,
God damn it!
Billy, and Billy's like,
Hopping around, fucking shooting grunts in the head.
and then
Damn it, Billy!
And then Billy's dead, and then you all die.
Then he jumps in this ramp and he falls and he breaks his. And he
Yep.
falls
Yeah,
down,
and he
he's
fucking
down.
dies from the
Oh,
impact.
Billy's down. Good job,
He's
Billy.
like, great,
Good
great.
job, Billy.
Stay down there, asshole.
It's even worse when they like go running out. They're like, oh, help me, and all three of you go, no, I want you to learn.
But see, and I feel like what's weird to me in turn. Okay, so in every multiplayer ever that's team based for first person shooters, it seems like that idea of if you go out and get your own self in trouble, fuck you. The team is more important than you.
I'm not going to save you.
But when it comes, the only time I've ever seen that different is Left 4 Dead.
Left 4 Dead doesn't.
Yeah, because you get more. Obviously, you get more points, but even beyond that, after you've gone through some of that shit, if I go out and try to save somebody, it's because I want them to finish with me.
Yeah.
I couldn't give two fucks about the points. Like, there's been so many times where that fucking carnival level, the fucking second to last chapter, when you have to open the gate and just bolt through the huge fucking
And they
horde.
just keep coming.
Yeah, like 3 people will get to the door and one poor motherfucker will get locked right at that turn and just down, and
Yeah.
someone has to go get him. You can't just be like, nope, leave him. Someone's like, I gotta do it. I gotta go get him. And you just go out guns blazing and hope for the fucking best.
I think one of the key differences is if you're like halfway through a wave in firefight and 3 of your teammates go down, so you're the only guy left. You're like, all right, well, shit. I'm gonna duck into a hole, wait for the enemies to come to me, and I'm gonna fight them. I've still got a chance. In Left 4 Dead, because you have a place you have to be. If halfway through the level, 3 of your teammates go down, you're like, I'm totally fucked. There's no way to win Left 4 Dead by yourself. If you're on like a higher difficulty, even on normal, it's
all it takes
stretch.
is one special.
Yeah, all it takes is a fucking jockey to jump on your head or some shit.
And you
So
lose.
I felt
It's-
alive.
you literally have to get your teammates with you to have
You do.
any chance in the game.
It's
Whereas
not
like,
just to have another target around you
Yeah,
that
yeah.
not you.
Everybody shoot that guy.
and in firefight horde modes and stuff like that, generally speaking, if you just hunker down into a hole and you have a reasonable amount of skill, you can still survive.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, I'm the fucking hero, but it does take a little bit away from the team experience.
Yeah.
Left 4 Dead forces you to be cooperative because
Yes.
you've got no chance without your friends,
Yeah.
which is really, really cool and an excellent gameplay mechanic.
It functions as
Do you
a,
want a 3?
Well, that was
or
like
not?
the main.
I would love a 3.
I'd love a
I
3 if
think
they
there's
tried
still.
it.
I think
Wasn't
there's
there
still.
something like some Valve memo got leaked?
It was leaked a
mentioned
while
Left 4 Dead
ago.
3 or something?
There was
What?
like some
Them finally
some
doing
guy for like a
something?
League of Legends tournament was touring like Valve's facility, and they took a picture of one of their boards that was listing like log changes over the day, and one of the things had a note about Left 4 Dead 3 on it. And he just posted the picture on the internet. It didn't tell us anything except that Left 4 Dead 3 is apparently
Was
being
happening.
worked on.
They're talking about it.
Yeah,
So,
so
I mean, they're probably working on Half-Life 3 also. It's fucking...
yeah, sure they are.
I should note,
On
however,
Sundays, when they feel like it.
I should note that while the wait wasn't quite as long, Half-Life 2 still had a huge gap between its predecessor and when it came out.
Yeah.
And people were saying the same thing about Half-Life 2, like Half-Life 2's not coming. They're not fucking doing it.
Didn't Half-Life 2 come out in 2004?
It came out the same year Halo 2 did.
So 04?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, because
So
I
it's
remember
been
all the
almost
review
10
sites like
years.
comparing them.
And I don't know.
Holy
what-
shit,
I
man!
don't
I
know what
waited
episode-
I think it
forever.
was 6 when...
I waited
6 year
forever for
difference.
StarCraft 2. I mean, I never
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
that was going to happen. I thought that they were
Diablo
stuck
was
on.
that?
They were stuck on
They
Ghost,
finally- about
StarCraft
what?
Ghost, which they eventually
Just
went on hiatus and then just straight up were like, no.
Well,
we're not
what?
doing
When
it.
did Battle for the Swarm come out? Like last year, or was
Heart of the
that
Swarm?
like a couple
Heart of the
months?
Swarm?
Heart of the
That
Yeah, it
just
came
came
out
out.
this
Right, yeah.
This
Oh,
year.
no, that was this year, yeah.
That was this year.
I
Okay.
still haven't. I still haven't played it. But
See, I've never gotten to play them much, but I love watching people play, and I love the cutscenes. Because
They're pretty.
why hasn't Blizzard done movies yet?
World of Warcraft. Although that's not CGI, that's actually like... a
No,
live
like
action
their cutscenes are gorgeous. Their trailers are gorgeous.
Yeah.
Why not? Can we make some?
it's like part of their mark. Like
Yeah.
this, you can tell this is a Blizzard game,
A Blizzard-
a Blizzard game because of the effort that they put into making each game artistic.
Yeah.
You know, and
Oh.
making each game almost like this kind of
Speaking
like
of
everything has its
Blizzard.
own kind of mythology and you know,
Their
there's just a lot of care
They're
taken.
really good at building worlds.
worlds.
Yeah, it's a big deal for them to make a strong world.
Speaking of Blizzard, I'm actually really excited for this because this is the only chance that I'll have to try a Blizzard game. Diablo 3 is coming on a console soon.
It's actually out now. I think.
Yeah,
Is
it
it?
came
I'm
out.
actually really excited
It
for
came
that
out
because I
today.
wanted to
I
try
believe
it.
it might
But
come
my
out today,
computer
yeah.
is awful, so now that I finally have a chance to actually play it, I want to give it a shot.
It's really fun.
I'd,
heard
I'd,
it's
be,
fun.
I'd be interested to give it a shot.
Yeah, and not to mention it's the only game that would work on.
You
Right.
have to.
Console.
You can't go into it
StarCraft
expecting
64, man.
Diablo 2 the sequel.
See, I never got to
It's
play the
not
Diablos.
Diablo. It's
well,
not
see, I
Diablo
never
2.
played it,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I don't.
So then, yeah.
I don't have any
yeah.
of those Blizzard fan
We never
mysteries.
played
yeah.
Diablo 2 together? Maybe that's just me and Mark or something.
I believe
Alex,
probably
maybe?
was.
Alex might have played it.
I'm just saying. Then again,
Diablo
if
2 was great.
it's our
I
fan
mean-
group. There's a good chance that a couple of us will get this. Because we've always been pretty good about being like, all right, tonight we're gonna Left 4 Dead. Oh, tonight we're gonna Mass Effect 3. Yeah, I'd like to get that going again.
we all get on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
Like if somebody
If someone from the
gets
group
into
says it's
something,
awesome
and
talks
we all
us into
see it and we're satisfied by the presentation,
that is how it works.
then everybody
The
jumps on the
PowerPoint.
bandwagon.
Should really get a big Torchlight thing going one of these nights.
Yeah.
Torchlight's okay. It is a lot.
Torchlight's okay.
It is a lot like Diablo 2.
Is it? Okay.
Just
Because it's the
it's
game
the same
that
team.
the
Oh, okay.
like half the team that made Diablo 2
Oh, did
left before they made Diablo 3 and went to make Torchlight.
Gotcha.
Because they didn't want to make Diablo 3, they wanted to make
Didn't someone say it was better than Diablo 2?
A lot of
A
people.
lot of
Yeah.
people think it's better than Diablo 3, even,
Yeah.
because
Wow.
there's
I
a lot of those
promise
hardcore
you-
Blizzard people that like have all these issues with Diablo
Right.
3. They're like, Torchlight 2 doesn't have any of that shit. It's like Diablo 2. So
Yeah, I promise you, a lot of people who played Diablo 2 probably, like, who are true blue Diablo 2 players to the very end, liked Torchlight 2 more than they liked
All right.
Diablo 3. Because they tried to do something different with 3. Because they don't like to, and they come up with games so fucking rarely, they don't like to repeat themselves.
Yeah.
Right.
they don't rest on their laurels.
Yeah.
Even most of the WoW expansions are pretty groundbreaking when they actually
And the
do it.
difference
They
is,
add
like,
a whole
between
bunch of
even
crazy shit.
Cataclysm
StarCraft
quite
1
literally
and 2 and
broke
not-
ground in
have
the game.
huge differences. All of the Warcraft games. I mean, if you play 1, it's like this pathetic, the first Warcraft. At the time, it was fucking groundbreaking. Then
Can't
you
wait
have
for
2,
the
which
second
was
Lost
more-
Vikings game.
I thought there was a second Lost Vikings.
I can't wait for the third one.
I remember it to be the best thing ever. For
I remember them advertising Lost Vikings whenever I was playing the shit out of Warcraft 3. It was
I
around
remember
the time
that.
that Frozen Throne came out.
Yeah.
And when you go online, they had that fucking ad banner.
Yeah.
And it was always there. And I was like, what the fuck is this? I don't want to play this fucking game. I want another
You
Warcraft.
see the one where they're like playing the instruments?
Yeah.
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 Uh-huh.
I never understood it. It was always
Do you
lost
think
on
they'll
me.
ever do Warcraft 4?
Maybe.
That's a great question because I mean, it's hard to say if the series has been. I mean, originally WoW was just a fucking spin-off. How
Yeah.
crazy is that to think about? I remember when they were
The first build of it was
Yeah.
literally scrapped because they sent it out for reviews and everyone just said that it was StarCraft that it was Orcs in Space.
Yeah.
That's all it was. Or no, sorry, that's the
No,
reverse.
we're talking about
StarCraft was
Space
Orcs
and
in
Orcs.
Yeah.
But no, with World of Warcraft, it's hard to tell whether it's a spin-off now or if it is the series itself.
Oh, it's certainly the main series. at this
Absolutely.
point.
I mean, what else
They-
has
they-
been telling the story
Well,
or
yeah,
gained that large amount of cash?
They've put more
The cash
effort into
flows.
the lore for WoW than they probably put into any of the Warcraft games previous. Because
absolutely.
They had to build the entire world. They couldn't just kind of pick and choose what little details of this universe they wanted to throw at you.
I want
They
that job.
literally just created it.
The fucking guy who works at Blizzard, his title is Lore Master. They have one for Warcraft, they have one for StarCraft. I want to be that fucking guy.
Is he just a guy with just like a huge corkboard in his office
I-
with like
I
all the
imagine-
details
no,
of the
no.
series?
I imagine
And he has
he looks
like books.
He looks like Alan Moore, kind of a
a crazy
a wizard
mountain
warlock,
Yeah.
and he's got this big tome.
Yeah, and it just says Warcraft.
that never leaves his arms.
You open the door to his office and it's actually like the peak of a mountain, like snow and icy wind comes
Yeah.
blowing
There's
out
like
the door.
owls and bats and shit.
Law Master, we require a ruling.
And he's like in the dark, and he's like,
He with this cane comes out of the shadows.
who dares call upon the Lord?
I will tell you of the ancient orc holidays.
he nudges the intern. He's like, "Quick, give him his offering of seal meat."
Like,
Here, Lore Master.
I just see like a starstruck intern just looking at it like, this is the greatest day of my
Like
life.
someday I'll be this guy. I'll be getting the
That
seal.
guy is so cool.
no, but like his sole job is to make sure that I don't know if he has any extra. I'm pretty
He's
sure
like
he
a
does.
continuity master kind of.
Yeah, and I don't know if he has any creative input. So ideally,
I would
I
hope
guess
so.
I would have a hybrid job. If he doesn't have creative input, I would have a hybrid job. Whereas I would be helping build the
shocked that
world
he didn't.
while simultaneously making sure, like, because
Well,
he
I'm sure a lot
controls
of
the
it's a team
games.
effort.
Yeah.
He controls
Oh,
games,
that has
books,
to be a team
any media.
Right.
He has to make sure that it all works. That there's
Right.
no overlapping shit and whatever.
So,
But that job would be
whatever.
so fucking
Sounds
rad.
like-
Oh my god.
That would
Sounds like
be
a lot of
pretty
reading.
So he's basically just
circling, no wrong name.
Mm.
No, that's not. No.
He literally goes through
This guy
like, you
never
have
went
go
to
through
this
certain-
realm.
Yeah, and
That
he
is
knows
a
that
story.
shit inside and out.
Well, it's like most long running TV series have a series Bible that they
Right.
have that collects all of the notes and continuity for the show. So like, oh, do you think like Chandler would have done this? And they're like, I don't know. Let's check the Friends Bible. And it's like, oh, Chandler would not do this because we said that Chandler would not do
Because
that
of
in like episode 2.
Yeah.
So he's basically like a human version of the series Bible.
And I mean, I'm sure they do have. Like,
Well, he's got to have books and books and
Yeah,
books with that
right.
guy. I mean, but the fact that there's even just a specific person whose
To do
whose
that,
title
yeah.
is to just
Lore
keep track of that kind of
Master.
nonsense.
it's the raddest title in the world. Oh my god.
Yeah, what do you do for a living? I'm a lore
I am
master.
the lore master.
I'm the lore master.
Like if
All
I
right,
were
so what's your real job?
if I were a lady and I was at a bar and there was just some fucking guy, like not like crazy handsome, not terrible, just like standard motherfucker, and he started chatting me up and I was like, so what's your job? And he said lore master, my panties would be off.
I think
I
that
would be like, now on the bar.
I think you might be the only lady.
I don't care. I don't care.
Not a common trait, I think.
No, because
Like,
that
oh my
shit
god,
is
lore
bad.
master! How quickly
Well,
can
because I
rip
have
off my
this,
clothing?
I just have
Take
this,
me to the bathroom.
Lore master.
Lore master, all the ladies.
I have this huge like.
Tell me facts.
Use your knowledge within me.
I have this huge boner for like world building. I don't know why. I just
Right.
I love that shit.
Well, I feel like most nerds do. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of a trademark of the shit that we like. Comic books, video games, are art forms. You know, the things that
Right.
we go crazy for. The worlds are very important. So when they do things wrong and they're inaccurate, it hurts, and we're like, no! Like there's this
God.
allergic reaction.
Yeah.
You become inflamed.
Yep.
Inflamed.
It's a big deal.
Which part becomes inflamed?
Like our brain.
Our brain just goes. It expands.
cannot allow. Yeah. No, I've had that
I
happen.
remember, like,
Yeah.
what was it at? It was at BlizzCon.
The red
Wasn't
shirt
it?
guy?
The red shirt guy.
Yeah, that he's talking to the fucking lore master.
Yeah.
Like, well, I think there's actually 3 of them. Now
It's
I
like,
think
in
about it.
this
But
book, the dragon. I don't even.
Oh, God, yes.
in some
Dude,
fucking book, the guy who's in the Tauren city, Thunderbluff? Yeah, Thunderbluff.
Yeah, Thunderbluff.
He's like the main chieftain guy. In a book, it says that during this period he was doing this one thing, and then in the game, it says that during this same period he was doing this
So
different
it's not
thing.
even an actual happening in the books. It's like, okay, this happened theoretically in the past game. Like it wasn't even.
No,
something that
yeah,
actually
it happened.
in
Like
game.
the book was written, I think, during like one of the patches.
Uh-huh.
Like, it wasn't like written, but it was timed. Like the time period was during one of the patches that was released. And what the game, like they placed him somewhere incorrectly. Like the book said that he would be in this place in Azeroth or something, and he was like not there. And the red shirt was like, "What the fuck is up, man?" And the guy literally looked at him and was like, I don't know,
Yeah, I
man.
remember
I'm
that.
sorry.
He totally did. He's
Sorry,
like, man,
dude,
you know what?
I'm sorry, all the
You know,
I had a bad day. I fucked up.
You got me there. I've been busy making sure all the other fucking.
The lore master is dead.
So that's how you become the new lore master.
Slave
Is if you can catch the old lore master.
in a loophole. Shit.
And like he dissolves to dust. He's kept immortal by its.
The guy who calls him out instantly grows the beard.
He grows
And
a
then
beard,
he walks
hunches
up-
over,
And then he
pulls
walks
a
up to
cane
the
and
Q&A
stabs
table
his
and
ass.
takes his fucking. I am now the lore master.
I will answer all
All
questions.
questions.
You put on the robe and you pick up his tomb. And then
Exactly. It's like, this is
Come
mine now.
inside.
this is mine.
Get his phone. And it's like, oh, dust off the past dead lore master from the cover. It's like, all right. I was really hoping that would happen.
And you know what? I can confidently say I can die happy now.
I do love the idea that like all the executives just are at their desk, like at their desks or whatever. Just yes, hi. Who are you? I'm Steven, the new lore master. I succeeded Garrett, the previous. And they're
Garrett
all
the Strong.
And then they like pause and go, "Are you over 18?" Yes, I'm 42.
Good.
All right, sign this.
Well, he
Get
checks
your
out.
office.
Can you work Saturdays? All All right, we're good.
I love the idea
Excellent.
though. Like, can you work Saturdays? No, I can't.
His eyes erupt in flame.
Imprison the lawmaster.
He is not one of us.
You will learn to work Saturday.
I, Garrett,
Friends of the
who
Lost
succeeded
Ark, I
Stephen,
know.
who buried Tyler, who
Yeah, on the tome it like lists the
all of their names.
yeah, like one of those trophies that goes back and forth between different teams.
Like they're looking
Oh,
through and they're
God.
like, who's this blank vanquisher of blank underneath my name? Don't worry about that. We do need to write your name in this part though.
Yeah, like the Futurama.
Like the Futurama, yeah.
I feel like you're the primary worry here. When do you work tomorrow?
Hey.
I work at early, so I should probably end pretty
I
soon.
did
I won't
too.
be able to do a segment one tonight.
That's fine. Okay, so then, in that respect, we've spent a good
That's a good way
hour
to end.
been
on
like an
video
hour
games.
five.
I would like to talk about comic books solely because Andrew has a unique title right now in that he knows more about Green Lantern currently than I do,
A
which
rare
is
occurrence.
truly a rare occurrence.
I don't know if we could truly insist that I know more because
But you've read more.
a lot of the shit I read kind of went in one ear and out the
No,
other.
no, okay.
But,
I
I mean,
remember-
hey, I sure read it.
I remember you coming over and I was trying to get the lowdown out of the comics that you read. He's like, "Oh man, Guardians of the Galaxy." He's like, "This raccoon, he's crazy." And I'm like, "How's Green Lantern?" He's like, "Oh, it's like
Green Lantern.
wizard space magic." I don't. And I kept reading. I'm like, "No,
No, I'm
it's
not
just
getting
getting more space magic."
It really is. Well, and see, I needed to talk to Mitch for
Yes.
perspective on it because what I didn't know, I have only recently really started to read comics. I got a Kindle Fire, so I've started
Oh yeah.
downloading some comics and reading them. I've really only followed Spider-Man and The Walking Dead for the
Yeah.
last like 10 years of my life. But I was sitting down and reading some of the new 52 series, and at Jake's recommendation, I read Green Lantern. I did not start Green Lantern knowing that I was like looking at the last 20 issues of Jeff Johns' epic Green Lantern run.
Yeah.
So, while a lot of the DC New 52s kind of like reboot the story a little to make it easier for new people to
They
follow,
didn't.
Jeff Johns is like, I got 20 issues left, I'm going to go knee deep in space magic because I'm going to do this right.
No, it's not even that. It's that when they rebooted New 52, they kept primarily in continuity only the like modern events.
Yeah.
And for the
Right.
fucking all of the like 2000 and 2010, all of that shit was Green Lantern. You had Blackest Night, Brightest Day, fucking Flashpoint, half included fucking Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And it was all Green Lantern. So basically none of that story got chopped.
Well, 'cause,
It was
like,
all still there.
Green Lantern is one of the few superheroes who's always fucking ass deep in universe.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
Batman's
Out in the ether.
Doing great shit.
you know, like Batman's, Superman, they're all stuck to their specific
Yeah,
cities.
they're contained, yeah.
They can occasionally go into space, but Green Lantern is always out
I don't
there
think
flying
Batman ever
around.
goes into space.
I think he's gone into space.
I mean, he has to for Justice League.
The
Does
Bat
Batman
Shuttle.
does he have like a Batman spacesuit?
The Bat Shuttle.
A bat suit?
Oh
The
yeah,
Bat
Yeah.
suit.
I could have sworn he had like a bat.
I mean, I wouldn't put it
space
past him,
ship
like,
on
I-
it.
does.
I don't know if it's he doesn't like show up at like the Watchtower in it. I don't
Right,
think,
yeah.
but he just kind of shows up in his fucking cowl and shit.
It
Fair
just
enough.
looks like a normal space shuttle, but it's got like little bat wings.
Yeah, that's actually.
I know he does have a bat rocket.
Does he really?
I've seen this one issue where it's of Batman and Robin. He's hanging out with Damian. He's like, Damian, come with me. He's like, is this for work? And he goes, yes, it is. So they throw in the costumes, and then they're just like, Father, I know everything about you. I know absolutely everything. What is this? This is the Bat rocket. You don't know a lot.
I'm going to strap you to it, Damien.
Good luck.
And so they fly out into space.
This is your trial by fire, Damien.
They fly out into space to do stuff, and Damien's like, "This is pretty cool," and he just goes, "Yes, it is, son." And I'm glad we could share this moment. And they're going down, and he's just like, "Do we have a Robin rocket?" And he goes, "No,
No, we don't.
not,
Most
not,
certainly do not.
not even a little bit." And then he goes, "Can I have it?" We're not talking the rest of the film.
Okay, yeah.
But anyway, so I'm reading Green Lantern, and for the all couple issues, I'm following it pretty well. I'm like, all right,
You need to
space,
tell him about issue
magic,
0.
yada yada.
I've
yeah.
read issues.
No.
Well, I'll get to that.
His story.
But then it starts getting to the second arc, and they start to lose me on some stuff.
Which issue?
The space magic starts getting a little. I couldn't tell you which issue, but it's
Like
like,
the
the
Third
first.
Army.
The first arc is all about like.
Oh, at the beginning of the Third Army,
Probably.
like that kind of shit.
I think.
No, it's the Indigos.
Ah.
I fucking love. Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about.
But there's
All right, I get
Russian
that.
media.
I get
But it starts out
Yeah.
pretty simple. It's like Sinestro shows up. He's like, "Hal, you want a ring? Come help me save my planet." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm following
Herpeter,
this.
yeah.
It's just
But then it's
Green
like,
Lantern, yeah.
then they're like Indigo Tribe, space magic, things, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, whatever.
They can only say one word. It's fucking-
But
Wait,
so,
what?
for the when you first
Not
meet,
true.
I'll explain it in a minute.
So we'll jump back for a second. When I downloaded all of these, I was not familiar with the Zero issues being a thing that DC did later.
Oh yeah.
The Zero issues were something they put together for the 1 year anniversary of New 52. They were basically prologues to all of the New 52 stories.
That they do.
But they're not necessarily intended to be read 0, 1, 2. It's supposed to be
They're
like
meant to come out whenever
1
they
through
came
12,
out.
and then you read the Zero issue for perspective on like what's been happening. I didn't know that. I just downloaded a torrent that's like Green Lantern. I'm like, okay, well obviously I should start at 0 because that
Right.
makes sense. So I read issue 0, which is all about Simon Baz,
Who is so fucking rad.
who's a
Oh
cool
my God.
dude. And it's like he fucking does some stuff and he gets a ring at the end of the book and you're like, all right, cool, this story must be about a new Green Lantern. And then it's like issue 1, Hal Jordan.
What happened to the other
That's
guy?
cool. And it literally goes like 12 issues unanswered. And I just stopped thinking about it after like 4 or 5. I was like, I just didn't even think about it anymore. And then it comes back around into like issue 12 when they come up with the reason Simon Baz gets this ring and he like shows up and I'm like, oh. It was like some really brilliant bit of foreshadowing, but it really wasn't because I was supposed to read
It wasn't
up
intended
to
to
12
be like
and
that.
then read the prologue issue. But for like a second, I was like, "That's so awesome!" It took him like a year to pay off that comic.
God damn.
So anyway, it gets to that, and then you start getting into the Third Army and the First Lantern.
Which is-
It's all really big shit that feels like it shouldn't be happening like a year into a relatively like new book.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so when I got to the end of issue 20 and it's like, bye Jeff Johns, it's been great, and I read that, I'm like, oh, now it all kind of makes sense.
This
Yeah.
feels
Like,
more
Jeff
appropriate.
Johns is going out with a huge fucking bang because the dude's been writing Green Lantern for
Ever.
fucking ever.
Did he write 100 issues?
Probably
Because
more.
I don't remember when Volume 4. I think only Volume 4.
He
ended,
took
like-
over with Rebirth.
No. Well, whenever he took over, they just did a new volume.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
he wrote from the beginning, issue 1 to I think Volume 4 ended in the 70s, maybe the 80s. So he may have written 100 issues, which is
I can guarantee
fuck
he's-
ass.
he's-
Yeah, I mean,
like that's not something that happens.
That's a lot of time to spend on one book. I mean,
Yeah.
I know everyone talks like Bendis is fucking crazy for as much time as he spent on Ultimate
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
exactly.
It's a big deal.
He
that
has
so
to
many
be
issues.
nearing the record.
Yeah, and I mean,
Which is
fucking
good. That's why it's still been consistently
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. I mean, because he's still writing that.
Mhm.
Like he's been writing it since the start.
Yeah.
Hey, as long as he wants to stay, why
Yeah,
would
he's-
he?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
between Ultimate Spider-Man and Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, he's got to have put in 150 plus issues of that
More.
book.
Easy.
I mean, it's nuts.
Easy.
Yeah, and that's a monthly book too, so it's not even like
Sure.
he's been working
been
on
years.
13 years, I think, because it
If not
debuted in
more.
2000.
Yeah,
is when
that was the year
Ultimate
they
Spider-Man
did it.
came out. So 13 years writing one book, and he's done other stuff too, but that's
He's always been doing that one.
yeah,
So
I
it's
mean
been,
that's
fucking
bananas.
it's been awesome.
But anyway, no, all said and done, I really enjoyed Green Lantern. It got really heavy on the Green Lantern
You do
mythology,
have to know a lot
which
of
made
heavy
it very,
things.
very hard to follow. But for the most part, I thought it was really cool. And now that Jeff Johns has passed and there's the new guy taking over, and he's kind of starting with more simpler stuff again, I'm like, okay, this is neat.
It's a good
It's
place
like,
to
I like this.
it's like riding a bike through a meadow after surviving
Yeah.
the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Because basically, Jeff Johns goes out with this huge bang. Like he puts together this huge fucking story that's like
He leaves a really good bow
Massive.
for the ending.
yeah. And he
And then the book
basically
continues.
ties it up like Green Lantern is fucking ending because he's like, I'm done. But then they just keep going with the next issue.
Yeah, because I mean it's a flagship title at this point.
Right.
And, like you can say all you want that the main three are Wonder Woman, Batman, fucking Superman, but I mean
I'd think of Green Lantern before I thought of Wonder Woman.
exactly,
Yeah, I
and
do
that's
too.
why I've always like
Wonder Woman's a chick though, so she's kind of like
not even
well,
actually
because it's like a strong female superhero. Like there's just not any of them.
no exactly. So
Right.
they choose Wonder Woman, but in
Yeah.
fairness, with New 50, Wonder Woman's gotten really badass.
I've been
Yeah.
told.
Like there's a picture that floats around a lot on the internet, and it's one panel, and if I don't know which issue it's from, I'm pretty sure it's from one of the New 52 Wonder Woman books though. But she's talking to somebody, and I think it's Superman, about how when he fights his villains, he subdues them. He doesn't like he lets them go
Yeah.
essentially, just like Batman. He puts them away. He doesn't deal with them. And she says, "When I deal with my villains, I deal with them." Like she fucking murders people.
That's why
She's
you don't
a
see
hard
models
ass.
running around.
Yeah, that's why Wonder Woman doesn't have nemesis people. They're fucking dead.
They're dead.
Yeah, they're mounted on her wall. It's
That's-
horrifying.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So no, I've read up to where Green Lantern is right now. I've read Guardians of the Galaxy, which I highly recommend.
I'll check it out.
No.
Keep talking about it.
No.
Reading Superior Spider-Man, which is a really good book. And I'm working on Batman right now, which is a hell of a time.
Oh, you got Batman finally.
Yeah, I find
Wait, which Batman? All
Snyder.
the Batman?
Snyder.
like
Oh, Snyder.
Batman.
Okay.
Like
Just
Batman.
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 So, did you get through the fucking Owls fiasco
I'm
yet?
in the Owls, but I'm not through the Owls.
How you liking it so far?
So far, it's good. I'm only
Love
2
the
issues in.
Oh, you just
But I just got through him fucking getting thrown out of the building with the owl and
Right.
Oh, with the 10 or 11.
With the
Guardians
things
of
and-
Gotham.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Batman,
that.
we're better than you.
Fucking-
Throw him out a window.
I just love to be like, throw him out a window. Did we get him?
Someone go look.
All right, let's go home.
So, but yeah, I've been really into comics the last week. Probably gonna keep doing that. I'm having a lot of fun getting caught up on all that shit.
It's
And
so good.
It's been fun. It's
Yeah.
a good time to restart comics,
So
honestly.
good.
yeah, well, it is because I was just talking the other day. Like Marvel's basically rebooting everything with Marvel Now. DC's rebooting everything with New 52. Like
Most of Marvel
there's-
now isn't very good, though.
Well, yeah, but some
You
of
gotta-
it's Superior Spider-Man's
But-
great. Guardians is great. I mean, there's
Hawkeye
a couple
is
of the other
great.
ones. Hawkeye.
What I've noticed with Marvel Now is that when they started, they weren't very good, and the reason is because Marvel Now isn't necessarily a reboot. It's literally they jumbled up their artists and their writers.
Yeah.
They took everybody out of their comfort zone and put them in places that they wanted to be,
Right.
but they told them you have to choose something that you've never written before, something very different. Which is why Matt Fraction's now writing Hawkeye rather than Iron Man.
Bendis is writing Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and
And
fucking,
a lot of X-Men books.
yeah, and
X-Men.
fucking Brian Posehn is writing Deadpool, and oh my god, it's fantastic. Dead Presidents is the fuck. It was the best.
Yeah, I'll have to,
Oh my
I'll have
God.
to read some Deadpool.
Oh,
But
it's so
from
good.
what I've heard, there's a couple. I've actually heard really good things about one of the Thor books that they're doing.
Heard Thor's actually
I
pretty
don't
good.
remember which
I really
one.
like Hulk for what it's worth.
Yeah, I mean,
It's decent.
apparently
really good
some.
right now.
Yeah, Daredevil's
Daredevil's
one of the
really good
good
right
things
now.
about. So some of the Marvel books are apparently coming around.
They just had to give them time
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
ease into their shit.
especially I guess if that's the case, where a lot of like people are taking
Yeah.
on stuff they
Because
haven't
some
done
people
before.
got into it earlier than others. Like
Yeah.
some Marvel Now books got like
Hawkeye, for
waited
example.
Yeah,
for a good long time before they're like, all
Or
right,
no,
we're hopping on
you're
this
talking
train.
about. Okay, never mind.
Because not all of them. It wasn't like the reboot where suddenly they said, you know, every book we have, and like they're talking to all their writers and like, yeah, cancel it. Issue 1's go.
that's not what that's what DC
Yeah,
did.
that's,
Yeah,
that's
that's
literally
DC.
what
Wipe
DC
the
did.
slate clean, and they're like, start everything over.
Yeah.
Why? Cosmic bullshit. Like,
Kind
They still haven't explained it. They
Yeah,
have the
it hasn't
release
been
date for the issues that are going to, but it's been fucking 2.5 years.
was it?
Well, maybe not 2.5, like 2. It was 2011. It was
Flash
September of
changed the
2011.
past,
Was
then
it
other Flash
Flashpoint?
went back
That's
to
what
change the
changed
past
it, right?
past.
Shut up.
But no, that was the end.
I said with a smile on my
That was
face.
the end. Was Flashpoint?
Yes.
Flashpoint was literally
That's the lead into
rebooting of
New
it. But
52.
what?
Flashpoint movie was pretty cool.
It's all right. It was good. I liked how they got a lot of it.
Yeah.
Like I did not expect to see Deathstroke the pirate.
Yeah.
That was rad.
That was
Oh,
awesome.
Deathstroke the pirate.
And I was like, yeah,
Flashpoint.
I love Deathstroke the pirate.
The problem DC has with their fucking events, which is why I like Blackest Night so much. And
Oh.
it's
I need to
oh
read
my
that.
god,
I
it's
have
so
I have
good.
the main book if you want.
Ideally, you'll read Blackest Night and every there's literally 90 issues of shit. If you read all the companion, like the side stories, and shit like that, and they're all so good.
Yeah.
But Blackest Night itself is only 7 issues, and that alone is enough. You just
Yeah.
oh,
I'll
it's
lend you
Boner
the
City.
main book. It's really good.
Jake, control yourself.
I can't. It's so hard. The
The
table
table
Yeah,
is
your
literally
pants, man.
leaning because
It's just
But then
I know.
wasn't like on the opposite side of that? Wasn't Brightest Day really?
I did
it wasn't
not like
terrible.
it.
It just wasn't very good.
Okay.
It was bad.
It
I didn't like it.
It was just such a turnaround. Like the tone was different. I can't. But the point is, whereas
You know,
notoriously DC uses their big company-wide events as a means to fuck up their universes because they're trying to get people on the bandwagon.
Right.
Which is notoriously why Marvel does so much better because they use their company-wide events to tell stories. They
and
tell,
get some people together that usually don't.
exactly.
get
Yeah,
together.
you know
That's why
just-
Civil War was so fucking.
Oh my god,
Oh,
yeah.
Civil War was
didn't do
great.
jack. Well, like it changed the universe, but it didn't.
I mean, in the
I would
end,
never
Civil
say it's
War
a jumping
was totally
on point.
retcon. Well, not
Yeah, it was.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, it was.
Stark was the only one with the list.
Yeah.
And Stark
Well,
just simply lost it.
Mitch and I were talking about Civil War the other day and how it basically forced them to have to reboot Spider-Man.
Because they were going
Because
great,
there
but
was
they
no
wrote
going back
themselves-
from Peter Parker unmasking.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it was such a great thing
it
for
was
Civil
fantastic.
War. When you're in the middle of Civil War and it's like, holy shit, Peter Parker came out. Like,
Not
that
as
was
gay.
as a gay man.
Not as a gay
that
man.
was super huge for that arc. But, like, we were talking, like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they realized how hard that was going to be to deal with after Civil War.
Well,
Which
what-
is basically why Brand New Day had to happen.
Yeah.
Was because they were like, we've got to fucking just reboot Spider-Man because it's impossible to keep going on with everyone knowing who he is. So
They had, like,
it was
several
great
issues
for Civil
afterwards.
War, but it also
Yeah.
basically forced them to give us the worst Spider-Man story of the last like
Yeah.
since the Clone Saga, which will probably always be the worst Spider-Man story.
What was wrong with? What was it?
Or what? No, it was
New
One
Day.
More Day. One More Day was the
One
bad
More
one.
Day.
Well, One More Day and Brand New Day was what came right after.
Okay, all
Brand New Day
What
was what
ended up
started
happening-
the new canon. One More Day was the actual arc where it got.
What ended up
They're-
happening
They're kind of
was,
hand in hand.
in
yeah.
Civil War, his big thing, he gets revealed, and in
Right, I
Spider-Man
remember
books,
that.
for like the next year or so, it was literally called like Spidey. Every issue was basically him hopping from town to town with his family going, I hope I don't get murdered today, because everyone knows I'm Spider-Man.
Right.
Literally, I think there is an episode where they're in a hotel, and they're like, alright, Pete, we need to get groceries. And he's going, this could be the end of us.
because it's not like
because
And
everyone
he's like,
knows.
Peter, calm down.
Yeah, it's not like he's just some normal ass kid. It's like once he comes out on like national
Yeah.
TV, it's like you're fucking Brad Pitt. Everyone will recognize your face everywhere you go because
So
you're
the
like the
cool-
biggest
yeah.
deal in the world right now.
So those issues were really cool to see Pete on the run. But you know, by like issue 6, they're like, and now Pete's still on the run. Are we going to be doing this for the next 20 years, guys?
Yeah, because
Because I
they
really
had to
don't
be
like
like,
this.
how
Either
do we
that
end
or
this?
he's going to.
Spider-Man escapes to Mexico.
How do we fix it? You know. So,
So
Yeah,
they have
so
one,
they had
one
the
more day, Brand
reboot
New Day,
essentially in there, yeah.
which is literally, I don't know if there's ever been more fanboy outrage.
yeah. Well,
I don't know.
What
I couldn't tell you because I wasn't around for the Clone Saga. I actually have.
I'll
one
summarize
more day.
it for you.
No. I want to do.
Why
it
do
one
you
more day.
have that?
Because I actually really like it up until the last issue because it's really tense and drama heavy. But then the last issue is where it all gets retconned
Yeah.
and it just goes to shit. Basically, what happens is it's Aunt May gets like shot, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
By who? Just random
Kingpin
man.
hires an assassin. He's like, kill Pete.
Yeah. It's
Pete misses
because
the bullet,
it's
it
because
hits Aunt May.
yeah, it's because Peter's a target. He's got someone after him.
Okay.
And he just dodges the bullet because like spider sense.
He doesn't
and then it's
think
like
about
Aunt
it,
May
yeah.
gets shot. So he's like, oh shit, fuck. So he goes to the hospital and they're
Even
like,
though Aunt May's like 95.
Right,
Yeah.
whatever.
She's
She
lived a
should
life.
be dead.
yeah, and they're like, we're not going to be able to save her. And so Spidey's
He's
just
like, no!
Spidey's just in a fucking rage. He like goes to Tony Stark. He's like, you've got to help me save my Aunt May. Tony's like, I can't do
I
that.
think he even
This-
goes to
I-
like
yeah,
Doctor
that's it.
Strange.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He goes to Tony. He goes to Doctor Strange. He basically talks to everyone he knows that could possibly fix it. And Doctor Strange is like, you can't mess with time and shit. Like,
like,
she's
"Shut up,
she's
Doctor
going to
Strange."
die. We can't fix those
Who cares
threads,
about your mystical
man.
bullshit?
He's like, what the fuck, dude? So, like, Aunt May's gonna fucking die.
Right.
Like, Spidey's just wrecked about that.
Right.
And
Because God forbid someone in his
so
life
then
die.
Mephisto shows up because he's like, hey, I'm the devil. And
I'm Marvel
Sup?
Devil.
he's
Marvel
like,
Devil.
Mephisto,
Spidey,
trademark
life's pretty
Marvel.
hard, isn't it? It's pretty terrible that your aunt there has to die. Tell you what, I'll let her live in exchange for like the last 10 years of your life.
No.
Well, and I don't mean it literally. What he says is, I'm going to take away your marriage and your relationship with Mary Jane.
Like all the progress.
I'm going to
you
make
made
it so
in
it
the last
never
10
happened.
years.
He
And-
basically turns him back to a fucking pubescent asshole.
Yeah.
They've had all those adventures, they just weren't married.
Yeah, it basically never happened. And Peter, who for the life of him does not want Aunt May to die, reluctantly agrees to it.
Right.
And so Mephisto fucking winds back the clock, and
Because devil.
like the last 20 years of Spider-Man continuity are thrown out the window because none of his shit with Mary Jane ever really happened.
Huh.
And they frame it like that, like this totally isn't so that we can find a way out of Civil War. It's just because we want him and Mary Jane to not
Yeah.
be married anymore.
But of course, in undoing that relationship, they also undo so much of what Spidey did the last couple.
Yeah.
Right.
So and so.
Because I mean, Civil War.
Also,
is big,
Harry Osborn, who's been dead for years, is now suddenly there.
Yeah.
He's
And
back.
literally, all of them, all the characters who know this devil thing happened, they're like, why the fuck is Harry back? We didn't mention him once. He didn't get brought up in that conversation, like at all. And he's like, hey guys, I'm around. Okay. Here's
Great
hey,
news.
high five.
So like I said, I consider it a really great arc until the payoff. because it's totally awesome seeing Peter just desperate to save his Aunt May.
But then
like,
Mephisto shows up and he's like, how about a retcon?
The conversation he has with Tony Stark is one of my favorite moments in any comic I've
It's
read.
really
because
good.
it's really, really intense. It's so real and just fantastic, and it's all really great up until the last issue. It's like that's why I'll always put it just below Clone Saga in terms of like the worst Spider-Man shit ever, because Clone Saga is basically a clusterfuck from start to finish.
Yeah,
like as soon as like another Spider-Man shows up, you're like, oh fuck, this whole thing has just gone to shit.
See, in my mind, though, I put the Spider-Man Clone Saga right alongside Batman Odyssey. And if you've never read Batman Odyssey, oh, it's a delight.
What is that?
It is widely considered not to be the worst Batman story
What
ever
are we
written.
talking about?
Batman Odyssey. Is it Neil Adams? I think. Here, will you use my phone? Look up. See.
I can look it up.
Trusting me with
I think the writer is. I think his name is Neil Adams, but it's literally Batman. The frame for the entire thing. I think it's like 6 or 12 issues. It's Batman telling a story to someone about a time that he was telling a story to someone
It is
else. Neil Adams, yeah, about this thing that once happened to him.
Okay.
And it's
Remember that time I told the guy about this time where I was
Doing
in
something?
an
doing this
elevator?
one thing, and yeah, it's literally, that's the entire thing. And it's so easy to lose track of it because it's so convoluted and so fucking dumb.
Right.
Like, there's a part there. The art alone sometimes is stupid enough because there's a full page that it has. There's no panel lines. There's blocks of ink that look like panels, but Batman's getting shot. Not shot at, but shot. And there's maybe like 8 or 9 of him on the page. And he's getting shot a bunch of times, so each block is supposed to be him like, like taking another bullet.
Right.
But it just looks like he's like dancing. Like he's like breaking it down. It's the stupidest thing in the world. And it's so fun to read because you're watching it like, Neil Adams he tried so hard. He really tried to bring his A game. And it just didn't work. And so I feel like if I went back and I read the Clone Saga again, but I read it with the mindset of this writer just tried really hard, man. He really wanted to do something really important with his life, that I would be able to appreciate it maybe a little more. But real quick, going back to Flashpoint, because Marvel gets away with that shit. Notoriously, every other Marvel event is the good one. Like, seriously, like, you go back to fucking since Civil War, I think, maybe before then, that's how it's been. Every event, every other event has been good.
Yeah.
What was after Civil War?
We had the Skrull invasion,
Was that
which
the
I
one right
hated.
after it?
It wasn't-
Yeah, 'cause I think
And then we
it's-
had Siege, which I am indifferent about.
Yeah, that's how most people are. Anyway, so
I can go on.
DC, being DC, decided to take this Blackest Night, which was company-wide. Brightest Day was just Green Lantern, but Blackest Night was company-wide. They decided to follow up this great, which I confidently say is a work of art,
Blackest Night's amazing.
story,
It's phenomenal.
and decide to go back to their Crisis days and just name it something different. They literally, Flashpoint is solely there so that they could they consolidate their 5 universes. They had their imprint universe, they had the did they still have Elseworld when that happened?
What's else?
It was like the alternate universe shit. Like, you had the main universe, because after 52,
They all got
consolidated into like 5 of them or something. Or like-
Initially, coming out of Flashpoint, a thing that a lot of the writers said right off the bat is, don't worry about parallel Earths. We're not going to deal with it. We're not going to deal with it. But a couple months later, okay, so we're putting out a new book called Earth 2.
which is
Which is actually cool.
Yeah, it's really good.
I was very shocked by Earth 2 and how much I like it, because I hate the concept of parallel Earths normally. Book's actually really good.
I love that shit.
Only
Oh,
recently, this is spoilers for their last big crossover, they said, by the way, Earth 3 is here. For those of you who actually know this is like Crime Syndicate. Like,
Yeah.
what if the Justice League were like bad guys?
Justice
Now
League
they're
dogs.
on Earth being like, we're gonna blow stuff up, and everyone's like, a bad Justice League?
It's just DC is so bad at keeping their promises.
Like the reason they
It's like, no, man, I'm gonna change. This
It's
time,
literally, that's exact. They're like a fucking drug addict. They did Flashpoint. They were like, no more of this fucking alternate reality bullshit. We live the fucking final page of Flashpoint. It's a 2-page spread, and it has the 5 universes, and it has essentially the Justice Leagues from each universe plus a few extra characters. And Pandora, who's the big thing, who still hasn't been explained, but she's
right?
They
She's
have
the one with the guns.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
but
She's also
she
really
was
good.
also in every single first issue of New 52,
Which is
like,
actually
she's
a
in
cool
there
Where's
somewhere.
Waldo thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's really fun to find her. Anyway, she's the one who made this all happen.
Okay.
And she's literally talking about how we can't, like, we don't know why, but we can't have these alternate universes. It's going to go wrong. And so I'm going to fix this for you, Flash. Like, she's talking to Flash because he's just fixed this thing with his mom. And she's like, I don't
He
want
stopped
this.
his past self from changing the past.
Yeah.
Right.
The past!
Because, reasons. I don't, fuck it. So she's telling him, like, I don't want this to happen ever again. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to fix all of this. And so she consolidates all the fucking universes, and they show the new universe. There's one, and it's the Justice League, plus a few other people, and their new costume designs. And it's really rad.
It's a
Like,
cool
fucking-
build-up to the reboot.
Yeah, and you're like, thank fucking God, finally, we can just fucking
This
have
is it.
one thing. And it really was a good jumping on point for people. Like, if you were going to jump on, go back to the beginning of New 52, start there.
Yeah.
Except
Unless
for
maybe
Green Lantern.
Batman and Green Lantern.
Yeah, just ignore those.
Because those are
didn't
so good that
happen.
they haven't changed.
Yeah. But then, literally, it wasn't even a year. Earth 2 came out maybe 6
Yeah.
months later. They released the solicits. They do those usually 3 or 4 months in advance. A solicit is basically...
These are our next coming issues.
Yeah, and they usually include like either the planned cover page or just promotional art. They released this shit for Earth 2, and everyone was like, "What the fuck, man?
You lied."
You just told us you weren't doing this." And DC's like, "Whoa, joke's on you!" And, it's so fucking mad. I can't.
Again, though, I was mad about it because I picked up an issue of Earth 2 because whenever I pick up a new book, it's because the cover. And I picked it up and I'm like, this is actually a really cool cover. And I'm flipping through it and I started getting mad at myself because I'm like, I don't like Parallel Earths. And I'm flipping through it going, I really like this. I said with gritted teeth. And so then I pick up the next issue, flip through it, and I'm like, this is also very good.
Damn it!
And it's really good. And
So I could sit here and I could fucking talk about comic books all
We
night,
can't
as I'm
all.
sure y'all know.
That's
But
another
we
topic.
have
We will
to.
in the
We
future.
we all have things to do. I wanted
Do we?
to talk to you guys about. Huh? Yeah,
We
well,
gotta go.
we can't do it yet.
Yeah.
We can't do it tonight, but again, like every Tuesday, we're gonna fucking do
Yeah,
this.
probably.
Hopefully. But I really wanted to talk about Drinking Quest tonight, and I couldn't because I didn't find the time. We'll talk about it next time. We'll do comics a little bit more next time. We'll do Drinking Quest a little bit.
Talk about writing.
Talk about writing.
I'm
methodologies.
really curious about that.
Jerky Quest? What are you saying?
Drinking Quest.
Drinking Quest.
It's a tabletop RPG combined with a drinking game. It's really fucking rad. The guy,
That sounds
it's so
fantastic.
good.
Sounds great.
And they have
We haven't done this
a
yet.
they have a phone app now. Look it up. It's really it looks so fucking good, and no one says bad things about it. Anyway, we'll touch on that
We'll
later.
get to that.
We'll get it next time. We'll talk about writing again because I really want to talk to you guys about Infinite Jest because I'm a pretentious fucking hipster who likes Infinite Jest. So we'll do that later. Everybody, say your goodbyes because we're gonna wrap this up.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Phony.
Hey.
Not
Oh, bye.
You guys are really bad at goodbyes. All right, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week.
All right.